Greetings. Welcome these brave heroes who once again quest against the dark. Remind everyone at home who exactly they bear witness to.
They bear witness to Sasha of the Unseeing Eye, Arson of Death House, Vampire's Bane, Wolf Smacker. I'll come up with better ones. Anyway, I'm here. I'm ready. I hate this town of cultists so much. Let's do this. We're gonna help I'm about to meet Rictavio. That's what was going on. There's also a side quest with that winery and some stuff. So yeah.
Indeed.
I'm excited.
And I'm Robert. I'm playing Greila, the nature cleric, and she's kind of just going along with him to his meeting. It's not really safe in these lands to be by yourself, as any character in any horror movie would become quickly aware of. So,
hey, at least none of us are babysitters. Well, I mean, I guess
how old's Irina? Watches us. Ismark's 12. I feel like that would have come up earlier.
Huh. He looks very good for a 12-year-old.
Maybe that's why people kept calling him the last day of the
And you?
Playing Crack, not Ranger, Kinku. So, yeah. My name's Jeff, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you telling him? He's your brother. Tell him.
I am telling him.
And you.
I am Ed, and I am still continuing to play Siguror the Minotaur. Talker of fucking crazy culty leaders.
So you're witnessed, and hopefully so shall you be well.
Alright.
All will not be well.
Brief, hopefully not so brief, but hopefully brief, depending on how much you like Vallaki, return starts with Siguror continuing to be regaled by the town's Baron about the importance of the festival. Now you see, it especially serves, considering we already had this past week. Certainly you must have seen the excellent decorations on the outside from the Wolf's Head Jamboree that happened not too long ago. It didn't quite bring everyone's spirits up. We still have co-conspirators of Strahd at every turn, especially those dreadful Watcher brats. Ugh. But hopefully, no, definitely, this festival of the Blazing Sun shall banish even their gloomy spirits.
Watchers?
Oh yes, I absolutely hate talking about them. They're a noble family. Servants of Strahd for certain. Absolutely. Yes, of this town. Long-standing nobles. They are among the primary enemies of the peace and everlasting joy that should grip this valley. It's people like them. Oh, if I could, I would have them locked up.
Well, that seems to be unfortunate for you. You were going to tell me what the Festival of the Sun entails?
Oh, yes. Yes, I was. I had wondered where you were. You look over to the side and you see a very stern-looking, well-armed man with a fleshy, clawed, demonic-looking arm.
What?
On his left side. Normal on his right. That comes walking towards you. He motions. The Baron motions to the man and says, Isaac, oh, it's very good that you're here. Talking about you-know-who always puts me a little on edge. Brave traveler, segue. This is Isaac, one of my top supporters, and my finest right-hand man. He helps keep the peace around here, as well as the other guards, but he very much so. I recognize talent in him from a young age after some strife with his family, and, well, He's been a loyal and capable servant ever since. Haven't you?
You said his name was Isaac?
Yes.
Okay, making sure.
The man nods.
There's a lot of names that start with I in this game.
Isaac, we have had travelers from afar, some of them even from the distant village of Barovia. It seems that word of our impressive wards have spread, and just in time for the Festival of the Blazing Sun. Isaac then moves to the Baron's side and takes up a neutral space. He says, yes, the Festival of the Blazing Sun. Where was I? Yes, okay. So, we, the Morning Lord, curries great faith in this land, both in the church locally and abroad, but it has not been enough. I've been hit by a stroke of brilliance. You see, the Morning Lord's glory must be adequately celebrated, adequately stirred in the people, for it to have true effect. The Festival of the Blazing Sun, at least its centerpiece, the Piece de Resistance, will be a large wicker sun that we set ablaze. We are gathering wood for it at this very moment.
I'm
That actually
so glad
sounds
I
kinda
didn't
dope.
play- Well, it does, but I'm so glad I didn't play Cleric of Light.
The
No.
flames shall rise upwards,
I
piercing
don't
the
want
gloomy
these fucking fucking
skies,
sparks hanging around.
defiantly sending a message to that cursed devil above, and
They would've
once and for
immediately
all,
launched on
banishing his curse from this land.
And what does the guest of honor? What is expected of the guest of honor?
Oh, guest of honor. I merely hope to have him front and center. An excellent example, given that we have had quite an unsavory past with those cursed servants of the devil himself. There's a camp, actually, just outside that have been giving us no small amount of trouble, though they have calmed down recently.
Camp, where?
Oh, it's to the southwest of town. Best to leave them alone. Never know what they'd be capable of. You're a traveler. Perhaps you would know. But if one of their own is willing to come around to the greater spirit of joy that will lift the curse from these lands, certainly they can not be a problem for much longer. Though, if they should bother my festival, there will be hell to pay. Won't there, Isaac?
Sorry, real quick. How is Isaac spelled? Because I got a sneaky suspicion it's spelled.
Out of character, it's spelled I-Z-E-K.
Yeah. I thought it'd
Okay,
be something-
okay.
Yeah, I thought it'd be something weird like that.
Huh. Alright.
Isaac.
Meanwhile, the rest of our heroes are at the Blue Water Inn, making their way back to the tap room, seeking out the entertaining man who's taken up residence there. Upon the inquiry of Sasha and the suggestion of the innkeeper. As you move through the inn, you eventually reach what you believe to be your destination. Damp cloaks hang from pegs in the entrance portico. The tavern is packed with tables and chairs, as you saw coming in, but even more so through the way, with narrow paths meandering between them. A bar stretches along one wall, under a balcony that can be reached by a wooden staircase that hugs the north wall. Another balcony overhangs an entrance to the east. All the windows are fitted with thick shutters and crossbars, only more noticeable as you go further in. Lanterns hanging above the bar and resting on the tables bathe the room in dull orange light and cast shadows upon the walls, most of which are adorned with wolf heads mounted on wooden plaques. There are a number of people in here, some of whom acknowledge your entrance to the tap room, though most of them are listening to a very colorfully dressed elven man who is waving a cane about wildly as he proclaims, "And then 5,000 sparrows from one little box." It was the craziest thing that I had ever seen, this or any other side of the coast. There's some applause and some chuckles. He goes, "What? Don't believe me? Well, you would have had to have been there. And there's an aftershock of more solid, like, applause and laughter. He bows, and then he walks over to a table and takes a seat.
I'm gonna, having not sit down by this point, I'm gonna approach. When I ordered wine, I didn't drink any of it. I'm going to move over to the table and I'm going to put it down. I will say, do you mind if I were to join you?
Ah, not at all. Just taking a bit of a rest for the moment. You appear new,
Yes.
I believe.
New to July. I'm Sasha. And you are Rictavio, yes?
Ah, yes. I see my reputation precedes me. I am Rictavio, famed entertainer, traveling the land to find new acts for my sideshow. Though my stay here has been perhaps a little longer than I would have wished.
Yes, well.
Nevertheless, no place seems to need more brightening than here, so perhaps it is good fortune. And what are your names?
Greila, and this here is...
Crack.
There we go.
Ah, I see. Ismark nods. Says, I am Ismark. I am son of the burgomaster
Oh, yeah, I
of
forgot that one.
Barovia. And Irina nods. Says, I'm Irina, Ismark's brother.
Sister?
Sister.
Or sister. And daughter.
That was
of-
quite a change.
Little did they know.
Little do they know, except not really. Ismark's sister and daughter to the burgomaster. Nods. Ah, you've traveled far. No small feat in these lands, I have heard. Though I do not go out so much myself. But I have heard from the trusted hunters over there. And there are like two grizzled men that he nods to in particular who look and kind of nod and then turn back to their drinks. The wolf heads around the hall. Most of it's their handiwork. Quite stellar gentlemen.
That is impressive. It is... We have encountered wolves. They are dangerous.
Very much so.
So, Madame Ava told us that this would be an ally against Strahd, right?
You are looking for an entertaining man with a monkey, and they will be your ally against Strahd.
Okay. Then what I'm going to say is you have seen many things in your travels. Have you ever seen I'm sure rare in this land, a monkey?
Monkey? Yes, I have. They're not so rare in other places. Why is it that you ask?
Because I have business with a man matching your description.
A man matching my description.
Yes.
But I am an elf.
That is true.
I warn, if this is for funny business, I am not in the funny business. Just merely a funny business.
Yes.
I thought you were just trying to make all these people laugh. Is that not funny business?
It is a funny business, my good woman. Travelers here tend to be looking for trouble, not to be rude. And that is certainly not me. Are you sure that the description is correct?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look him up and down. Can I don't... Can I roll insight to see if maybe he's trying to, like, deflect? Like maybe he knows
Sure.
more what I'm trying to say, but is trying to. Well, look at that. 17.
It sticks out to you that he didn't just say no to your monkey question.
Yeah.
And that's a little weird. However, you can think about that in the meantime. And that is precisely how it will be. You and your friends will be joining us, yes?
I cannot speak for them, but possibly, depending on how long we choose to stay in town.
Oh, but surely...
We're gonna not give him a committal.
Surely
glitter on
any
your
enemies...
face,
Surely
You're
any
clearly
enemies of
ready for
Strahd
this.
would jump at the chance to partake in the ability of breaking his curse upon the land. I won't have anything else. Won't I, Isaac? Oh, but where is the time gone? I should be getting back to helping with the proceedings. I'm afraid I've lost myself a bit in my conversation with you, though it is always great to hear people who are excited and eager to partake in the festival that will save us all. If you will excuse me, I have other business to attend to, but I look forward to seeing you and your comrades, especially your Vistani friend, at the procession in several days. Exactly several. Right, Ismark? Yes, yes. Until then, be seeing you, and all will be well.
All will be well. Pardon
He
me.
is openly delighted that you returned.
Before you go, you say that the
All the way.
non-believers are thrown into stockades. Where do you hold them? Because I would imagine it is far away from everyone else.
No. There's a portion of the town square dedicated to those degenerates, co-conspirators of Strahd that will not be tolerated. Should you wish to perhaps change their minds, I'm sure you can find them. But, enough talk of this. Actually, no. Enough talk of this. Then he moves on.
Does fucking Isaac move on with him, or is he like?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you would like
The
stay.
mastiffs that have been following him, his wife who fell back a little bit because he was kind of in close talking to you, and Isaac all follow.
Okay, because if he was going to do some stare down, I would greatly turn that. But, well, I guess there isn't much else that I can do except probably use it to drink by now. Probably go for, since I don't really know. We didn't pass it at the same time, right?
No.
All right. I guess try and flag somebody down and ask where's the nearest one to get a good drink.
All right. It takes a little bit of doing, but eventually you're able to get the attention of a young man who is walking somewhere, and he has a bit of a stern look on his face, but actually turns when you holler at him. What is it?
I'm looking for a place to get a good drink around here. Where might that be?
It'd be the Blue Water Inn, if it hasn't run out yet.
There's where it might.
A little. I've heard.
Might be an issue worth looking into then. Where is it?
It's down the road and to the left.
Alright, then walk on. Thank you.
He continues on his way. You continue on yours.
I was gonna see if he was gonna throw it out or not.
Meanwhile,
I will say, in your travels, have you heard of Madame Eva and the Taraka?
I have.
Yes. Well, you see, I must discuss something with you away from private business, away from possible eavesdroppers. I know it's a lot to ask for, but I would ask that you meet me somewhere secluded.
I have a room upstairs.
Thank you for understanding.
Just this way, follow me. He walks, leading everyone, unless somebody stays back for reasons, up some stairs, down a hallway on the second floor, and into his room, though it is somewhat crowded.
I'll stay in the hallway to make sure no one actually tries to follow us and actually eavesdrop on the door.
Alright, when she starts to lock behind, I'll turn and on. Once we're in the room, I will say, thank you for understanding. This woman, Irina, the devil Strahd is after her. I went to Madame Eva seeking her wisdom in what can be done to stop this, and she seemed to believe that an entertaining man with a monkey could help me.
That was her belief, you say?
Yes.
She is a wise woman. In a movement, he sheds a disguise, revealing himself to be a human man, and somewhat older as well. I know a great deal about Madame Eva and her wisdom, and I do not doubt it for a moment. I believe it is me that you seek.
And who are you?
I am Rudolf van Richten, famous monster hunter. I've spent my life working against the evils, not just of Strahd, but of other agents of the dark, though Strahd is my current project.
Is there a monkey there?
There is not. However, he does elaborate. I had a monkey companion, but he was not welcome at the inn. I have entrusted him to the toy maker for now.
I see. Do I know who this guy is? Can I roll history?
Sure.
Okay. 12.
Yeah. His name has popped up in a couple of places that you can think of.
Huh.
It's pretty, low key, but definitely familiar.
Is he a native or traveling bounty hunter?
Yeah, do I know if he's from outside the mists?
You do. At this moment, I do not. I can't remember if he's native or not, but
Okay.
you know the answer.
Alright. And I'll say,
It's very curious that I would be named as an ally, but perhaps fortuitous. Tell me, your experience thus far. Leave out no details.
well, when we came to this land, we found ourselves trapped by the mist in a... Not a character. Is it actually known as Death House? Or does it have another name in universe?
That's close enough that it does.
Then I will say, we found ourselves trapped in Death House. Once we had managed to escape and burn the house down, I found Ismark here, and he told us of Irina's circumstance. We decided to assist and bring her here, but on the way we stopped. It says, but before we left, because Strahd appeared when we left the town, right?
At the
when
church.
We were burying, at the church. We were burying their father at the church, and Strahd arrived and told us that he would be expecting us later. He let us take Irina for now, but I do not believe he will allow us to keep her. Upon speaking with Madame Eva, she told us there were 3 things we needed to find, and that we also needed to find you. And that she would help us must defeat the devil. I must be honest, I came back to this land. As you know, the Vistani are allowed to leave. I came back because I wish to free my people from Strahd's curse. People look at us and they see someone who lives a good life under him. But I have seen nothing but fear. They are just as trapped as everyone else is. Maybe not physically, but spiritually.
It is interesting. I have met one similar to you. Though your experiences are a little different. I would not talk of her at length, however. For my own reasons. These things, what did she say about them and where they can be found? And out of character, you can just say
I'll
tell them.
repeat what these things are. Because out of character, I totally don't remember. One was like a painting.
Woman hanging above a fire.
Yeah, that was one of them.
A powerful relic within a tomb.
I hope that's not Strahd's tomb. Because that would suck.
I'm pretty sure it was implied that it was Strahd's resting. No, Strahd's resting place.
Right.
Powerful relic in
That
Strahd's
sucks.
resting place.
Uh,
The third one, I feel
and I was
something
told him
of force.
that we were foretold to face him in the throne room. Although, really, I mean, where else are we going to find him?
I think that was the three things, actually.
No, that was a different thing.
For a
'Cause we got
refresher.
3 items, a place where the final showdown would happen, and an ally.
For a refresher, you were told that the first of the things you seek, you were first told that which you seek lies in the tomb of darkness, the devil's lair, the one place to which he must return. The second thing that you were told, and if you want a transcript, I can totally give it to you later, because I know taking notes while
sure.
talking is a little difficult.
Actually,
A
that
woman,
would be preferable.
yeah,
A little bit.
I know that's what I would want. The second thing you were told was that a woman hangs above a roaring fire. Find her, and you will find the treasure. The third thing that you were told was to look for a fortress inside a fortress,
That's what it was.
in a place hidden behind fire. The fourth thing that you were told was naturally to look for an entertaining man with a monkey. This man is more than he seems.
Right.
He's not an elf, he's a human. Anyway.
Well, that's a good disguise. People.
Yeah.
And the last thing that you were told was that the beast sits on his dark throne.
And hopefully that means his throne room, and not that we're gonna find him when he's on the toilet. I don't know how that works for vampires.
I don't know.
I don't think they do.
I'm sure World of Darkness got into it, but we won't. We won't.
Too far in for us.
Well, it does go into how they fuck. If you play Bloodlines, you can
Yeah.
have sex with Janine.
He strokes his chin and says,
I haven't even on mine.
Cryptic.
sometimes.
though much more useful than it might first appear. I have been making preparations of my own here. However, they have been to undermine Strahd in a more roundabout sense. I believe that there is a camp of Vistani that are loyal to Strahd and acting as his spies outside the outskirts of town to the southwest, but I have yet to confirm if this is the case. This is my current endeavor, or was, until you arrived. Ridding Strahd of as many tools as possible is important to me, as much so as confronting him in the first place. But no doubt these clues will merit careful consideration as well. We cannot afford to act but once, as many before you have learned.
Yes. The last people who faced Strahd are probably his thralls. Irina told me that the wizard came in and whipped the town, the Barovian, to a frenzy and attempted to face him. I would not be so foolish to assume a direct assault possible. We must defeat his allies, wherever they are. We must find his weakness, should he possess any, and we must gain enough strength to be able to deal the decisive blow so that he never comes back again.
With absolute certainty. Tell me, what is your next plan from here?
Well, upon reaching Vallaki, Ismark and believed that Irina would be safe here. After meeting the Baron, I'm not so sure I agree. I think it would be safest and I would turn to Ismark and say this, if Irina continued to travel with us. On the move, Strahd will have a stronger time capturing her.
Harder.
And she has,
Harder. You said stronger time.
will have a more difficult time capturing her. And on the road, she can gain strength to defend herself. She does not need walls. She needs to rely upon herself.
Ismark says, though you've helped us this far, I must disagree. Putting her somewhere safe, not having her on the move, would mean she would be better defended. While the Baron is a colorful sort, certainly the rumors of Vallaki's fortifications were not untrue, as we've seen at the Wall, and as we've seen with the men that travel around it. Your new ally contributes, saying, trusting him is shaky, but it is possible to trust in the city and without trusting in him. There is a church here devoted to Saint Andro. As far as I can tell, it is protected from Strahd by holy artifact. While it is up for debate whether or not it would be safer for Irina to travel with us when we depart, it may be a safe place for her, and perhaps you for rest, should you not trust these walls, though I also have my suspicions that this place is rather safe. In the meantime,
I will say to Irina, you are your own person. You can make your own decision. He does not speak for you, and I do not either. But my people know the devil. There is no place he cannot go.
Irina says, well, perhaps we should think about it a bit more and see what happens with the city.
We will be here for at least a little while longer. There's something about the festival, I believe. And Van Richten, you said this church could be a safe place in the meantime? I do not trust them to not turn on me. Perhaps we should go and investigate this as well. Crack? Crack sits in the corner not listening.
No, he said,
Oh, I thought you said, sorry.
The priest is a good man. I doubt he will turn away people looking for help, honestly and earnestly.
Additionally, the barkeep has asked us for assistance in a job. We will need to do this at least.
Oh.
I know it seems in poor taste considering the amount of danger Irina is in, but we are adventurers and we need gold for supplies.
It may be more worthwhile than you might think. Tell me, what did they ask for your help with? And before we do that, you find your way to the Blue Water Inn. There's a moment where you think you feel like you're being followed, but you don't see anything. It's probably nothing. And once you're in, you are acknowledged, and there's a man at the front, through the smokiness, beckons you over and says, you have the look of a traveler about you. Tell me, are you with the others that came through here?
5 others.
Yes. One
Aye.
Vistani and the others, I believe, out of character, you're elven, right? I'm not misremembering that. Graila's.
I'm not elven.
Asimar.
Right, glowy eyes.
White.
One angelic, one a Arakakan, and 2 other humans.
He's a kangaroo.
My bad. He knows. He knows I don't.
Now Cocker can fly, which would be awesome.
I saw them go
Damn.
upstairs. They're speaking with the bard that performs here.
Sure, they will praise me of what is going on when they are finished. For now, I need something strong.
Ah. Well, then we can help you with that. We have the following wine selections. And he trots out like the wines that the other people got. There is a most expensive one. Did he remark so? Actually, we're sold out of that at the moment. There's the like second expensive one, and then there's the one that costs the cheapest.
I'll go with the second expensive one, and go for a bottle.
Ah, an enjoyer of good wine, I see. Very well. Then I will get you a bottle of Superior Dragon Crush, and that will be 1 silver piece for the bottle.
I'll put down gold and tell them to keep it for his troubles.
Ah, you're too kind. What they say about you is true. Rickon takes it.
What the fuck do they say about
That
him?
makes it needed more. Just fucking just pop it off the horns.
You begin drinking. Meanwhile, back to you.
We are supposed to go to the Wizards of Wine's winery and see why the wine has not been coming. He has promised free room and board and gold in exchange for this. I need it for components. And I will motion to my spellbook.
Yes, of course.
Since he knows this guy and probably has a pretty good reason to trust him, I assume even though I only rolled a 12, I assume his reputation is pretty strong as a monster slayer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then yeah.
It is very unlikely, in fact almost impossible, that the few blurbs that you have read were all coordinated at different points in time with different publications.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird.
Very interesting. Well, then I would suggest you do it. After looking at what you have to look at in town, that is.
Yes.
For now, I must maintain my disguise, as I have things that I am still doing here. But you have me here if you need me.
We will let you know how things go. And if you have any need of us, perhaps when you move against the Vishtani, if you would allow me to accompany you, I would like to see for myself if they are willing servants of Strahd or merely ones bound by a cloak of fear and misjudgment.
Well, if you happen to have reason to be going in the direction of the camp, perhaps they would let slip more around you, thinking you one of their own. Though I would not ask you to do this, as it is dangerous, but should you be interested,
No, I don't know.
I will move ahead as I have planned, unless told something different.
I'm just double checking. The camp is to the southeast,
Yes.
Okay.
and the winery we have to go to is to the west.
I would have to relook that up, but you know where it is. And it may or may not be out of the way. We'll see.
Just double checking, making sure.
You know, when she said he's more than he appears, I didn't literally imagine him to be a disguised fucking vampire hunter.
Who is not a dwarf.
I know.
Sorry,
I
not
think
a,
he's so
bard.
cool.
Yeah. Well, he's basically this setting's equivalent of Van Helsing, so that is pretty fucking dope.
There's something.
I wonder what his stat block looks like, because in 2nd edition he was a rogue, which I thought was an interesting choice. I don't know why, but I assume he'd be like a fighter or something, but...
Well, I mean, if his
Rogue
class
kinda
for
makes
this
sense.
one's
Well, I
monster
guess rogue
slayer.
kind of makes sense, too.
Well, I mean, for this, if he's a monster slayer with points into rogue.
I don't know. NPC stat blocks
Bard.
don't work like that. They usually don't have class levels. Like, they might have some features that classes get. Jaraxel is clearly has a little bit of swashbuckler and a little bit of artificer.
Yeah.
Because he can equip more, or he can attune more magic items than normal, but he also has like 9d6 sneak attack.
But he doesn't have the
But he
other
doesn't have-
aspects of
yeah.
artificer and all that.
Because that's how NPCs work.
Okay.
You know? They don't always have class levels.
You were correct. It is to the west.
Okay.
A few miles to the west.
Well, then in theory, we can hit the Vishtani camp and then pull up, basically, because... Or wait, no. It was southeast or southwest?
I believe southeast.
Oh, it is southeast?
So
Yeah.
it's in a different direction.
Unfortunately.
Well, how far out of the way is it?
Once you have the ability to consult, like with your friends, you believe that like the camp is closer than the wine place. Like it's like a little farther than the outskirts of town. as
So we
opposed
could
to
get
the
there
wine
and back
place.
in like a day, right?
Yeah, probably. Having concluded your meeting, you're able, or definitely, like, exit the room. Greila is still outside, on watch. But within earshot, so Graila's able to hear all the relevant bits.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
And when you make your way down, you find that your companion, Siguror, has joined the other bar patrons. He has a bottle to himself.
Secret.
Tasha.
We have met the
Shepherd.
one we needed. Rex.
Sorry.
We have met the one that has been spoken of. I will fill you in more once we are away from others. First, I believe we should head to the church to check that it is in fact a safe place, and then from there, I believe we should visit the Vishtani camp outside of town, and then head to the winery.
To the northeast, as the Baron spoke of.
Southeast.
Southeast that the Baron has spoken of.
Do we need to visit the toy maker for his companion?
I assume he can go and pick up his companion once he,
Well,
yeah.
Will we be going in full company, eyeing Ismark and Arena? Or motion, and also asking them? Be going in
They
full
both
company?
express interest in the church for their own reasons. So, at the very least, they would like to go to that.
Okay.
Alright, then, depending on how much the wine is left from the bottle, just pull off the cork and just put it back on.
There's enough that you want it later.
Good.
Real quick, how far is the winery? Because the festival's in 3 days, and he expects us to be there.
Several.
So,
3.
several, and then I specified 3.
Oh,
The winery is, by Ulrich's description, a few miles away, so you could probably get there and back in a day, give or take how long it takes to deal with whatever's going on.
and the Vishnani camp is closer.
And the Vistani camp is closer.
So in theory, we could do all 3 of these things and be back here, barring any complications with either of the 2
Before-
things. We can be back by the festival, because I don't want them to throw Irene or Ismark out because I didn't show up.
Probably.
Okay, well, alright, cool.
So, since the one that seems like it might take the longest would probably be problem at the winery, that's probably last on the list.
Yeah.
Fuck, I had a question. What was it? Don't worry about it. Oh, if I remember it, I'll mention it.
And, Yeah. And we can also make a quick shopping trip if anyone wants to sell stuff. I was interested in selling those, if it was possible to get money for those pelts. Seems like they do have hunters, so they might not be worth the most.
Try selling to the hunters.
They probably have pelts. Pelts are something they definitely have.
They're dire
That's all
wolf
they
pelts,
do.
though.
They're direwolf pelts.
Yeah, but there were direwolf heads on pikes, right?
Next.
So clearly the hunters are capable of hunting direwolves.
That's true.
And in the inn, there are also heads around as well as
We'll
decoration.
book these hunters then. I'll just...
You know, we probably should have got a map from them. Actually, before we leave, not to fill up more time doing side stuff, but are the hunters still there?
Yeah. They're sitting. They're drinking.
I'll hail one. Do we know their names? don't think we do.
You do not.
Yeah, I think we just need a
Good hunters.
You sure you wouldn't want somebody else to ask them for the map?
Sasha doesn't think it's a problem.
There's
He's just gonna walk up and do
a
it.
bald one with a large and long, like graying beard that turns.
I'll point around to the heads and I'll be like, "This is all your work, yes?"
Aye. The other one turns as well, which for the benefit of everybody else has like brown hair. He's got like a little mustache and some stubble around the chin.
Seems younger.
Yeah, but like maybe by a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they are. We're quite prolific for what good it does us.
You must know the area very well, yes?
We do. But, of what interest is it to you?
We are going to be traveling, and my companions have need of a map. Would that be a purchasable service?
You would not be able to guide them yourself?
I have been away for some time.
He looks over, and his balder brother grunts and brings him in close. He looks at the group. Yes, this is possible. We are also for hire as guides ourselves, as long as it is not after dark.
Fortunately, our travel will take us a while, but I will keep that in mind for the future.
Very well. Is it just a map you seek?
Yeah, basically. I want
For
to know
now.
the area.
For now.
Alright. I do believe we can do something about that. Just a moment. He turns, and as his brother starts like rustling through like stuff that he has, I'm going to try to skim here because I'm pretty sure they totally will sell you a map.
Okay. I don't have that much gold, but I think we could probably chip in for it.
Yeah. I think I have a few I could toss in.
No, not that much either. But
I have 6 gold.
I have 5. I don't know.
246. I couldn't buy anything.
After a little
Living that
while,
poverty Strahd life.
the bald one produces a roll of parchment and then undoes like a little cord around it and unrolls it to reveal a map. The other one says, it'll be 3 silver for the map.
3 silver? Yeah. I will put down. What are on the coins, by the way?
Yeah. For here? Huh.
Well, getting curious, you like, I guess, take a look through,
Yeah.
and as you're handing over the money, you never noticed it before, but there's a profile picture of Strahd's face on at least the currency that you have from here.
Classy.
Ah,
Now I hate money too.
that'd be funny if he was just on the silver.
The Devil Strahd stares back at you as you buy your map.
His eyes really are everywhere. They're on each fucking coin.
And don't hesitate to let us know if you need guides or something else.
Alright, you got a map.
They then return to their drinks.
I figure that can be useful in finding trails and stuff.
It very much could.
Just like half a bottle left, or a third.
Between those two.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool to go to the church. I don't have,
We'll say a third.
barring
Simplicity,
selling the furs. I don't think there's anything I was gonna buy. So the furs give us a lot of gold, and they happen to have a couple spell scrolls.
You could ask the hunters who they sell their furs to, although they might not like that much. Since you're like...
Yeah, I don't want to home in on their business.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think random townspeople would probably be fine, or another shop owner would probably be fine to ask.
A crafter is who you would normally think you would sell furs to.
Like a leather worker and such.
So, are we ready?
Do we need to buy more rations?
We're just gonna
We should be fine. Yeah, we should be fine.
Let's go.
Rictavio returns to his duties, this time telling people about the tiniest ram he has ever seen. As you depart for St. Andrew's Church.
I think I've heard that one before.
His name was Steve. He's a dick.
As you move through the town, it is no short amount of time before you come to what can only be the church that you seek. This slouching, centuries-old stone church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked, stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses a garden of gravestones next to the church. Thin mist creeps among the graves.
Creepy.
As you approach, no one hails you, though you notice the young man that you talked to before, still with the mean look on his face, but doing something else. Like he's walking back towards the rear end of the church and doesn't say anything as he passes the group of you.
Okay.
Similar to how you've been regarded by many past your first encounter with the Baron and other guards. As you move inside, you find it is much like the church from Barovia, only this one looks a little bit more well-tread, and
Hopefully he doesn't have a vampire in the basement.
hopefully doesn't have a vampire
No,
in the
it
basement.
has one in the attic.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
hopefully, not hopefully, I don't know.
Greila, do you know of Saint Angelo? I'm not familiar with him myself. Out of character, I tried to roll knowledge religion. I rolled a 1, so I got a total of 8. So I'm just gonna assume that's a no and ask Greila.
Do you want me to roll? Is it a thing from this land, or would I have heard of it outside?
It's possible you would have heard of it.
Okay. Mother?
Roll it already!
Sorry. So 8. So not likely. In the
Same
same.
Well, I rolled a 1 and got the same thing you got on a 6.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I
funny.
don't have an intelligence modifier.
No, you got like an 8 total.
8 total, yeah. So I assume I have not heard.
You're a bit well studied in religion, so kind of. It's you know that he's a saint, and something about the sun.
Okay.
Bro,
kind of
I was
escaping
really
you at the moment.
hungover that day of seminary school.
Well,
I did a keg stand the night before. Where did you go to be a priest?
hey.
Kiggish.
I'm an acolyte. Friggin'
However, there is a point where a small child does spot you and run over and ask, "Oh, hello. Are you here to see Father Lucian?"
Yeah.
I guess.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Maybe about 10 feet away, there is a man with auburn hair that was like kind of bent over, like looking in like a book, only to like rise when he like hears his name, and he waves and says, come, please. I'm simply preparing for tonight. But I always have time for others, and certainly travelers. The kid kind of makes way as you guys move forward. As you've been told, I am Father Lucian, and I preside over this church and do my best to raise the spirits of others. Say, you. You have the look of a religious sort. Tell me, do I miss my guess to say that you are a priest or cleric of some kind?
I'm a cleric of, I really wish his name was easier to pronounce.
Why didn't you pick one that's name was easy to pronounce?
Because I picked one I wanted. What do you mean? His name isn't here. Hold on. I'm very sorry for this. Starts
it happens.
with an R, and maybe it's not in here.
Isn't it Rilifane?
Rilifane is. Yeah. His name is two parts, so it's like Rilifane, Rathalo, or something like that. But I'm a
You
cleric
just
of
said
Rilifane.
Rilifane.
He's a god of nature, so he's not so associated with the sun as the local populace might like, but I'm a woman of cloth nonetheless.
Nonetheless, indeed. And he looks down for a moment. No, he doesn't. I do, though. And he motions to the child and says, Yeska, would you mind tending to the garden outside for a moment? And the child goes, sure, and leaves.
Good.
He waits.
Kid's got big problems.
I am loath to impose on travelers, let alone people that I have just met, but it is uncommon to meet someone of the faith such as yourself outside of my normal flock. We've had some trouble recently here.
What sort of trouble?
This place, there's a space below that housed a holy artifact to our church, bones of Saint Andrel, the Morning Lord. But recently they have been stolen. I suspect that another one of the boys who helps around here was the one that did it, but he is an emotional sort. His family troubles at home, and I've been unable to confront him as I would have liked. And furthermore, I do not wish to spread panic, as you have no doubt noticed outside. The
Proceedings for the
festival have people on edge almost constantly. I hate to impose, but if you could help me with this matter,
I'll help you.
I would be much obliged.
Father, these bones, they are magical, correct?
Yes, though perhaps not in the same sense as armor or weapons.
Still, it protects this church. Keeps the devil's minions at bay.
It does. We have been fine so far, but I am fearful for what it might mean if they are not returned.
Yes. Yes, this is the most important thing. We must have this done first.
Yes. Well, I intended to help him anyway, so. What is the name of this child you think took the bones?
His name is Udo.
Udo?
Lukovic.
Okay. Why do you think he took the bonds, Father?
I cannot be certain. I mainly suspect because he's the only one that knows.
That knows what? Oh, that they were stolen, you mean?
He's the only one that knows about the precise location.
Uh,
I was trying to assure him of St. Andrew's protection, and perhaps I said too much.
Do you know of anyone else that might know that they are missing?
No, I'm afraid not.
These troubles that he possesses, what are they?
Due to his family situation, it has become his task to provide for the family, his mother and his younger brother, and that has been difficult.
So, then you believe he might have taken the bones and sold them?
I could not imagine who would buy such a thing, but
Well, that is exactly
it
the
is
point I was
possible.
getting at. If they were sold, then they would have a buyer, and that could narrow down. Even if we talk to him, he might not know where the bones are now. If he does, we will know.
he's the only lead we have, though, at the moment.
Yeah, we should go talk to him.
Do you have any other piece or anything that could have been tied to them? Maybe something that shared the same magic?
Can you let us get
No,
one
I'm
level
afraid
so I can
not.
have locate objects?
No, I'm afraid not.
Well, you mentioned his family situation. What is his family situation that he has to provide for his siblings? What trouble befell their family?
Their
Could just-
father.
Yeah.
Just
Would they?
Their father was taken, put in the stocks, and punished for speaking out against the burgomaster in his proceedings.
Yes, I heard this from the Baron earlier.
He places people in the stocks for speaking out against them?
He believes that any who would
Yeah.
speak ill of the festivals or his proceedings to be conspirators of Strahd and agents undermining his efforts to bolster the spirits of the people.
And they're put into the stocks and held there until they become believers again.
And there's no one who
Or a
stands
worse
against it?
fate.
do they not get fed while they're in the stocks?
They do not. No comforts are afforded these devil's
So some have
agents.
starved.
Some have starved, some have been stoned, others have been left to languish.
Wow, that's super cool.
It is unfortunate, but with his enforcer, Isaac, and the demonic gifts that he possesses, as well as the necessity that some see him as, it is better to bear with than
The
to
Baron
fight
has
directly.
a demon guardian?
I met him earlier as well in our conversation. He did
Wow.
not seem.
Sasha's gonna hold up his hands and be like,
Yeah,
He
why
is-
would they
He is a man.
tolerate him?
He is a man, but he possesses an infernal gift. One of his arms is clawed and muscled as if like a demon's, and it is capable of summoning forth fire.
The rest of
Why?
him seems to be a human.
really?
Yes.
Out of character, I want that arm.
He's lived at this town
How
I'm
long?
gonna cut off that guy's arm.
in quite a while, since he was a boy.
So he is a native to this town.
He is.
Did he always
However,
have
he
an
did not always possess
arm?
the arm.
Oh, sorry.
He,
Sorry to say, but this guy's about to get Nero'd.
He, I believe as a child, he and his sister were attacked, and while they never found his sister, he was saved, though he did lose one of his arms.
And what?
Missing girls are not uncommon this place.
But if he was missing one of his arms, did he have the demon arm when they found him?
No.
No,
It is
he
a
got
more
it later?
recent. It is a more recent development.
How?
Where and how did he get it? Do you
Perhaps
know?
a few years past. No one knows. And
He-
the Baron certainly was not in the mood to ask questions.
I am surprised he was allowed back into the town.
He's been taken on as a trusted advisor and enforcer for the Baron.
Is he head of the guard? I were to guess.
No, but he could likely order them around should he wish.
He's probably more a bodyguard.
Right. Or
I would-
assassin.
I would steer clear of them. Capable or no.
What
Very quiet fellow.
would we face any repercussions, Father, if we tried to speak to the boy's father while he was in the stockade? Or
The Baron implied that people can speak to them and try to convince them that their belief is folly to get them out of the stocks, which leads me to believe that they can be spoken to just fine.
It is as your comrade says, it is not a crime to simply speak to them, though anyone being friendly is likely to garner poor attention.
There was one other family, and I am wondering if they're involved. The Baron seemed hesitant to talk of them very much. He mentioned them as watchers.
Oh, yes.
He spoke very ill of them.
Well, I believe that is quite appropriate. The Watcher family, specifically Lady Watcher, is the only one brave enough to openly denounce him and his works and get away with it. She and her boys are part of an old noble family. They've been here a very long time. It is also believed that they have some connection to Strahd, which some believe is why the Baron is hesitant to confront them directly. I am not certain how truthful that is.
Are they of Fishtani?
They are not. They are native to this town.
we can talk to the father in the stockade, but if we approach the noble family, if we're seen talking to people that are
Associated.
disfavored too much, we might arouse suspicions.
I would avoid such a thing. If you wish to go with Father.
To be fair, you might get away with a bit more than the rest of us.
That is true.
I believe I would get away with less.
Yes. I can go speak to the boy's father then, see if there's anything that might help us there. Where he maybe hid the bones or what he might do with them.
Depending what the other...
Siguror, you are already known as an outsider. If you speak to him, it will not arise suspicion. Crack. We should go and speak to the boy in the meantime. I have ways of getting information from him.
Good information to try and reach out is that if he is the only one and the father that knows that the bones are missing, besides us,
If we're
that might be a good line of questioning to start.
Sasha will say nothing. I'm just going to read his mind. But I'm not going to tell you guys
we don't
that.
read minds.
I'm just going to read this kid's mind.
I pray that you are discreet. While you are not the first travelers from afar to visit Vallaki, things have become especially tense. I would be very careful no matter what you do.
Why have they become especially tense now? Because of the festival or something else?
Oh, well, more because of the festivals. One after another, after another, after another.
Are
They a
these
weekly
festivals?
occurrence.
They are
Are
not a normal
they?
occurrence.
They're not annual. These are the burgomaster's festivals, correct?
Yes. They happen just about every week now.
How can your town continue to afford all these festivals? I'm not a bookkeeper, but something seems.
It most certainly has this place strained. Though I would not speak of more than that.
Do not wish to get you in trouble.
Right. So
He
it
seems.
seems as if we have our destination.
Yes.
The next we meet, we can. Was able to find out more information of the next festival that we can discuss more.
Where are we going to meet up? He's going with me if I have this. If I
Yeah, you
have the plan
guys
correct.
go to the stocks, and
And
we're
you
gonna go
do.
talk to the kid.
Are we meeting back up at the end
Um,
afterwards?
Or do we want to meet
Is
outside
the church
here?
or the inn closer to both these locations?
I guess the church would be the natural place, right?
Closer to which locations?
The places, the stockade, and where they're going to confront the boy.
Without looking, I believe the church. That's a lie. I am looking poorly. I believe that the inn is closer to both of these locations than the church.
Let us meet back at the inn. Once we have discovered what we need to know.
Okay.
Perhaps Irina should go with you, and maybe Ismark should gather more information.
Mm.
If you wish
Since
to
the
stay
protection-
here, I will also understand.
Since the protection of the church is gone. Or would we believe to be the protection of the church?
That is true.
In my mind, I'm thinking, she might, if you guys are having trouble, she might have an easier time talking to the kid. Maybe.
Also, they probably shouldn't go with you guys, since if they plan on staying.
Oh, yeah.
If they decide to stay here longer, they probably don't want to piss off the Baron.
Exactly.
Irina says, well, I would like to be of help as much as I can. I believe I will join you if that is acceptable.
That is fine.
Nodding, Ismark says, and I will join you as well. It is best if we stay together, after all.
Alright. Yeah, let's go, I mean,
Alright.
you can do that first if you want.
Where are we
No.
to meet?
Yeah.
Then thing.
So it's you two
Yeah,
to the
it's
stocks?
us two to the stocks, them two to the kid.
I want Crack.
Okay.
I mean, Crack isn't really going to talk to the kid, probably, but if the kid pulls out a dagger and attacks me, I want.
Crackle.
I
punch
want
him
one
out
of these
just like
two-
he did Father Donovan.
You know, yes, I have trust that if anyone grabs me, Crack will just knock him the fuck out.
Yeah.
It has a very, very good history.
Yeah, he has a good history of
You're not wrong.
Plus, hey, giant bird person, if the kid starts getting upset, maybe, I don't know, do something to entertain him? I don't know.
Do you like birds?
Well, no, it's just he's also he has good senses. If there's a trap, he's the most likely, aside from
I like to spot
Greila,
it.
to spot it.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty
Yeah.
fair.
Okay.
especially considering my perception adds a 1.
And
But
then
it has
0.
It's
Oh,
better
but
than
it's
0, but it has disadvantage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can't notice everything all the time. You gotta notice some of the things some of the time.
Actually, there is a particular build that can notice stuff all the time.
60% of the time, he notices it 100% of the time.
But it's a very specific build.
Sex
doesn't make
Panther
sense.
powers activate.
I wonder how this stuff actually smells, because you can buy it.
Sex Panther?
Yeah, because you can buy it.
Well, people said it
Give me all
smelled
the
like
mistakes.
burning tires or something in the movie. So I imagine it doesn't smell like wood.
Probably not. So Siguror and Greila
Mm.
make their way through the town to the town square. There are a number of people putting up decorations and preparing for the Festival of the Blazing Sun.
Sigurd, if the Burgomaster approaches, or Burgomaster?
I've been saying it Burgomaster. I have no
Burgomaster.
idea.
Okay.
People call him the Baron here.
Anyway, if the Baron approaches, you distract him. You've already spoken to him once.
You seem to have other obligations for the rest of the day. It should be fine.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
However, if someone else of his entourage approaches, I can intercept.
Okay.
There are a number of stocks. A few townspeople are currently within. There is an older woman and 2 men. One looks to be middle-aged, and the other maybe a little younger. The middle-aged one is like balding on top, so he's had it like maybe a little worse.
Is the middle-aged one the one we think is the father?
I was gonna ask, do any of them seem like they've been here longer than the rest of them?
All of them appear to have been here a while. Their postures are slumped, they are barely conscious, and don't really move until you get closer, and then one of you notices that like there's a little bit of breathing on one of them, and then like another one like shifts just so slightly. At first it seems like maybe they're dead, and then not quite.
But they're close to death, all of them?
They're pretty bad. And the woman and the younger of the two men are also damp.
Damp?
Like they're sweating?
No.
Like they've
Like-
been rained on?
People
Like water has been poured upon them.
Oh.
Alright.
People are beating
Well-
on these people.
That is
Greila,
I
which
would-
one do you wish to talk to first?
Well, preferably the father, if we knew which one it was. Did we find out the dad's name?
You
Or
probably
actually,
asked for a
is
name,
there a
and I'll say
guard?
you have one.
Which-
Okay, I was
okay,
gonna say if there's
but-
a guard nearby or anything.
Yeah, there's no one paying too much attention to us, is there?
No.
Okay.
They're like big iron locks on the stocks, but that seems to be all the guard that is posted.
Oh, you know what? We could have busted him out if we had taken crack with it.
Nah,
Yeah, I know that's a bad idea, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Which one did you want to talk to?
Which one of you is the parent of Udo Lukovic?
The older of the two men like attempts to look up, but is
I'll
unable
crouch
to.
down so he can look at me.
The man is clearly weary, exhausted, and put through some physical humiliation. He can barely open his eyes a sliver to look at Greila, but does so, straining as hard as
Must
he
you?
can.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on
I was actually gonna say, are you able to heal someone while also making it look like you are striking them?
No. I mean, I can lay on hands, which doesn't require me to cast, but I'm not gonna strike someone. I just have to touch them and speak some words. I'll speak them quietly and touch him.
I guess I'll just try and block views of other people who may be watching, best of my ability.
I'm gonna
Using
cast
the
Cure
bigness.
Wounds. If people pay
Alright.
attention, that's fair. I'll deal with it then. He should heal for 10.
You wouldn't have to have anything that also heals fatigue or exhaustion, would you?
That would require a restoration spell.
I
Specifically
do.
a greater restoration
Oh,
spell.
I don't have
Really?
greater. I have
He
lesser.
looks
Dang.
he looks better, but is still very much exhausted. However,
Okay.
he is able to ask very hoarsely,
I'll hold the water skin up for him too.
"How do you?" Okay.
Before
Be very.
they have to drink water to live. I'm not gonna. Also, I'm a cleric. Fuck
No, I
anybody
know.
who tries to stop
I'm
me
just
from
thinking.
helping
I'm just
people.
thinking in my head that might be too much to draw attention to us.
You give him some water, and he asks, Why do you say my son's name?"
We have reason to believe he might get himself into trouble, and we're trying to prevent it before we're trying to prevent any negative consequences before it gets out of hand.
We don't want him to end up in the stockades.
What
like
is
him.
wrong? What has he done?
The local priest believes he might have stolen a holy relic from the church. Please, I know that the other
Way too
people-
much information.
We have to tell
Stare at
him.
you.
Look, I'm not gonna lie, Siguror. Right?
He's stolen from the Church of St. Andrew?
We don't know for certain yet. The priest just suspects that it was him. We need to find out. And if it was him, we need to return the things before anything gets worse. We'll be as discreet as possible.
We do not wish him to end up.
If only I were not in here. If only I had not spoken out against the Baron. It's been some time since I have seen my boy. I thought I would never see him again, and I suspect I still may not.
If you are able to assist us or anything, I spoke with the Baron earlier. He seems to say that they release people that become convinced of his ideas.
But I cannot. All will not be well.
Alright. Siguror, relax. No.
You do your best to shut
No,
him.
I'm not going to do
I-
that.
Unfortunately, that does prove to be the pushover, as a voice from to the left and rear of the both of you asks, "Hey, what are you doing over there?"
Merely
Just glance over.
trying
And a
to-
couple of guards come walking over.
Continue. I will do it.
But
Okay.
for right now,
Yeah, you continue. I will do it.
your
Just
other
as-
comrades.
Insult them. Tell them we're
Insult the
antagonizing-
guards.
No.
Yeah, that's good.
Crack is saying we should insult the father of
Out of character.
Sake so that the guards will suspect something.
I think I might have something if you
Maybe
keep
that'll work.
talking to him.
In the meantime, y'all are at the church, and your objective was much easier to walk to, as the boy that you are looking for is there right now.
When we see the boy,
Hmm.
is there, like, what's around? Basically, I want a place
I
where I
want
can
to corner a
step
child.
No, I want a place I can step behind, cast a spell without being seen, and then immediately come out and start talking to him as soon as possible. Because the spell lasts for a minute.
He's currently tending to a small garden that is there. There is a fence. You'll have to kind of like crouch down a little bit, but there is a fence that you can like do that behind.
Could make it look like you're inspecting the flowers.
Basically, I want to try to stealthily cast this. Because as soon as I assume as long as I'm not like directly in his face, it's not super noticeable.
Unless I am given information to the contrary, I would say yeah.
Alright, cool. Sio. Diditi. Pet. And I will cast my spell and I will approach.
You cast your spell. Irina asks, "What is this?" Ismark frowns but doesn't say anything. You
We'll say, what was the boy's name?
contrary to rumors and me misreading, it is actually Milioj.
Milioj? What?
Milioj. There we go.
Milioj?
Oh.
Yes. My bad.
Is the father Udo?
Yeah. I also may have misread some other things, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
As long as
Milioj.
How's it spelled? Is it like
He
Milo
looks
dish
up.
or something?
I will
And
say to him.
I just found
Actually, no.
phonetically.
I'm not stopping in character. This is me out of
Okay.
character doing this because I have a minute in character.
he looks up.
So Sasha's gonna make as much use of that as he can.
Alright, he looks up and says, "What?"
Now, I'm going to read what the spell does because it's a little complicated.
Okay.
As soon as it comes up. For the duration, you can read the thoughts of certain creatures. When you cast a spell and as an action on each turn until the spell ends, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see within 30 feet. If the creature has an intelligence score of 3 or lower and doesn't speak any language, the creature is unaffected. You initially learn the surface thoughts of a creature, what is most on its mind in that moment. As an action, you can either shift your attention to another creature's thoughts or attempt to probe deeper into the same creature's mind. If you probe deeper, the target must make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, you gain insight into its reasoning, if any, its emotional state, and something that looms large in its mind, such as something it worries over, loves, or hates. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Either way, the target knows that you are probing into its mind, and again, that's only if I go deeper into its mind.
Oh. Does it say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Just doing the normal version where I read their surface thoughts, they don't know that's happening. Yeah. And unless, the creature can use its action on its turn if it realizes I'm in its mind to make an intelligence check contested by my intelligence check. If it succeeds, the spell ends. Questions verbally directed at the target creature naturally shape the course of its thoughts, so the spell is particularly effective as part of an interrogation.
That makes sense.
And then there's
First
some
thing
more
you
about
think of
detecting
is the truth.
invisible creatures. So I will say to him. Oh, so first, just being around him, I get his surface thoughts. So what are those in this moment?
His surface thoughts are about how difficult it is to make money, about how his father very stupidly got himself thrown in the stocks because he couldn't just go along with what was happening, and his general irritation at the work that he's doing right now because it's work. It's not fun.
Right.
No, but it does shift to when you approach him. What is a Vistani doing here? I thought they weren't allowed in the city.
Nice. I will. I will say to him, and it's Milovich, right?
That's close enough.
Okay.
I think you're right, basically.
Milovich, the father has spoken to me about the disappearance. He has asked me to help find it. And then I'm hoping to turn his mind.
His surface thoughts are about the father telling you that he stole the bones, is how he phrases it in his head. And out loud, he says, "And what makes you think that I did it? Why are you bothering me about it?"
Look, boy, the father understands that you are in a difficult situation, and you did what you did, not out of any malice, but because you want to help your family. If you tell me where the bones are, all will be forgiven. No harm will come to your family, and we will do what we can to help your father. If you lie to me, I will know.
He's clearly not going to give this information up easily.
I will probe his
So
mind
you
if
can.
want
Well, I
me
was gonna say you can either like attempt some charisma shit with your words, or
Intimidation.
I'm also going
not
to
gonna
give
work.
you or intimidation, or I can. I'm going to give you his surface thoughts either way.
Okay.
But I just wanted to mention that. His surface thoughts become about how unfair this all is, that now he's in trouble just because he's trying to feed his family. About how he'll get about how the coffin seller will get in trouble for sure if he tells about it. So it's not true that all will be forgiven, or he really doubts that that's what's going to happen. He just doesn't believe it. And
Maybe just be
also
more
a little bit of fear that he's trying to tamp down because he's being confronted directly by an adult. Like, you're not
Right.
super old, but you know. And also, you are with other people, and you are on the father's good side, and that has him a little worried. But he doesn't want to let that show.
He's also ignoring the fact that Marius' character said we want to help his father. That's nice.
I mean, really, I shouldn't have to probe any deeper. We know it's probably the coffin seller.
Or the mortician.
Where is it?
Oh no, you know, because that's what he
Yeah.
thought. He'd get in trouble if he knew,
Right.
or rather, the coffin seller would get in trouble, and that trouble would definitely come back on him. So there's no way that you're telling the truth, and it all will be forgiven. He doesn't believe you.
You're not gonna get in trouble if you tell me the truth. Tell
Uh,
me the truth. Go to your room.
If I tell you the truth, the coffin seller would get in trouble.
We got the kid in trouble.
Sorry.
Okay. Then yeah, I have everything I need to know. I just need to decide what I want to say to him.
You should probably try to honor your word if he actually tells you, but if he just lies to you, I don't know. You're good to lie though, aren't you, though?
Yes. I will say to him, your father spoke about what is right. He should not have been punished for it, but he was. I realize this makes things harder for you. But that's part of being a man. Is doing what is right and sometimes suffering for it. If you do not wish to tell me because you believe it will bring further harm upon your family, I understand. And we will speak of this no more. Not a character, I already know what I need to know anyway.
Yeah.
Just using this to break off the conversation, and I'll end the
I told Henrik, the town coffin seller, about the bones, and then he paid me to take them.
Okay.
You did the right thing, like your father would have done.
How much?
But you're asking how much he got paid?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid. He probably got ripped off, but that's not the point.
Yeah, but Crack probably wants to know.
Is it a fair deal or was he? Meh?
10 gold.
Really?
Ripped off.
Yeah, he got ripped off.
Well, other character
For a peasant, that's how much they get paid in 5 years.
I do not. That's still a ripoff for.
It's a holy
I
relic.
know.
Yeah.
It's a
But I'm
ripoff
saying-
for an adventurer.
Yes.
But for
But you remember
For
when
him.
you were a kid the first time you got $20 and you were like, holy shit, I'm rich.
I am rich. I can buy anything I want.
I think it's more accurate. A kid doesn't go on adventures and shit.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kids don't know.
He's never gonna get a treasure chest full of
Ah.
silver pieces. Be
They
all
do
like,
Oh,
go.
that
They do
attitude.
go on adventures outside though.
When I was
Fair
7
enough.
years old, I was given $200 for my trip to Disneyland, and I thought I could buy a car. I could not buy a car.
You could buy a really
I
shitty
could
car.
buy $30 of red vines, which is one of the things I bought at Disneyland. And then I bought a bunch of those magic pieces, and I bought a Beanie Baby of Mickey and Fantasia with the hat and stuff, which I think my mom still has. Anyway, that's all totally besides the point.
No, hey, you.
Uh,
The one time when I went, I was given $100 to buy stuff there, and I only spent like $20 with it. I thought, yeah, I'll get to keep the rest of it. How much do you have left? This much. Cool. Give it back. You said I could use it.
I actually
For
got to
beer.
keep the rest of the one I was given.
Yeah.
That's
I had-
unfortunate.
I had
Yeah.
$30 at the end of the trip, and I bought Dragon Ball Z cards with all of it.
Nice.
Fucking sick.
Yeah, it was really sick.
More to the adventure point. You have the information you need. You are still dealing with the complications of questioning his father, but it is about time for break, so we'll be right back. And we're back, returning specifically to the town square. As two of the guards approach, one of them asking, "What are you doing there?"
My companion and I are at the bequest of the Baron, or suggestion of the Baron, trying to open people's eyes, because my companion is adept at it, due to their holy persuasion.
I see. Wait. Where are the ass heads?
What?
The what?
He turns to his companion, or to the other guard that's right next to him, and he says, "I don't know, we just got here." And he turns, "You, these people, were they not wearing ass heads upon them?"
Not when we got here.
This must be the work of those damn little Watcher children. One day something will catch up with them, the dark sort. You, move over to the crate. The other soldier, or the other guard moves over to a box maybe 20 feet away.
I assume I'm about to get that answer, but they mean donkey heads, not like they have a fucking butt on their head.
And after rummaging around in the crate, the guard pulls out comically sized, cartoonish donkey heads.
Oh, my.
Sized to fit over that of a human head. And comes walking back with them.
I was just making sure, okay?
Dude, it's Hype Horse. But like a really fucked up version of Hype Horse.
The guard takes one
Take one
and
for
then
all.
shoves
I am
it
the husband.
roughly over like the woman's head. That'll do you. And he moves to like the younger man and takes another head and says, "That will serve you."
Now, I know it's bad,
Oh my god.
but this might actually be a good thing for them due to the hat being able to block the sun.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially for the guy
I know
who's
it's
mom. He might get like
Well,
somewhere.
what is
So
the hat made out of?
actually-
Because if it's we'll
Wool.
probably make it worse if it's wool.
Were it a hat, maybe. But this is a full-on like mascot
Oh.
costume head that is put
Yeah.
over them.
I thought it was like a head that has like a
No,
cut
it's
out for
it's
their
literally
face.
I am the husband.
Jeez.
The guard
Season
turns
31, like what the fuck?
and says, "Well, I didn't mean to interrupt your work. Please, by all means. But we need to return this upon them. Once you are
Oh.
done."
I'll put my hand out for it.
Oh,
And
he
put
gives
it
you
over
the donkey head.
I'll put it over his head.
Alright.
And how close are they? Or, well, they're close enough to hand it to me.
Serves you right for your malicious unhappiness. And the guard slaps the dude like through the donkey head after you apply it.
Oh, fuck.
It's people like you that keep this land cursed.
We are.
There is a muffled grunt from inside the head
Mm.
before the guard nods.
We are trying to go for a gentler approach to see if it works.
Oh, no need for a gentle approach here. It's them that are the reason that we are free, why we haven't lifted the curse. It's them who speak out against the barons. It's them who stop us all from being happy. I'd have stoned a lot of them, but we have things to do with the Festival of the Blazing Sun coming up. Are you going to be joining?
Yes, we'll be there.
We have the guest of honor amongst our group. It would be a poor decision to not.
Guest of honor. This is first I've heard of it.
The Baron himself proclaimed it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I am sure the guest of honor is a quite radiant person indeed.
You could say that of a sort.
Well, we must be going.
Mm.
All will be well.
I'll return his gesture.
Oh, it will be well.
The
These-
guard next to him says, all will be well. And they turn, and then they leave. Not completely, though. They were doing something in the town square.
Alright.
Okay.
Resume their duties
once they're,
maybe
like-
20 feet away.
Good.
I
You're not
will
looking
whisper
up.
to the
Spit in the fucking ground. Goddamn.
when they get far enough away. I'll whisper to him, "Don't worry, I'll take these off after or when we go to leave or something like that."
It does occur to you that might not be a good idea. They're supposed to have these on.
Alright. Fine. I'll find some other way to use his burden. What was the last thing we asked? Oh, we told him like his kid had done.
And then he started freaking out of, I cannot abide by the Baron's rules. I cannot.
It's been a long time since he's seen his son, and he wishes he had been there.
Yeah, I remember.
Was the part before that.
Could try to bring his son to see him.
You're.
I mean, this might not be a good
You know-
way for you to see your dad.
what we're doing is relatively pointless now because he already knows what the thing is. But we
don't know.
Yeah.
That's true. However, it does sound from what he has said that if his son stole the bones, it would have been after he got put in here.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't seem to know anything about it.
That's true.
If you'd wanted any other kind of information from him, maybe, but that seems to be beyond him. Though he is quite sad to hear about this, and
What exactly did you say to end up in here? Do not get riled up again. But What was it that you were arguing with the Baron about?
The response comes, but it's muffled.
I'm gonna take the head off of him.
Well, wait.
All will not be well.
I understand that.
There's a call from 10 feet away. Hey, quiet you! It's one of the townspeople. They're like not armed or armored. And what are you doing over there?
Talk to the guards that just talked to us.
I think I'll talk to you. You're outsiders. I thought I heard.
I think it will be a much better decision for you to talk to your town's guards. I'm going to try and intimidate them to go the fuck away. This is not their business.
Are you gonna try the guards on you again?
No.
This is just a random townsperson.
I know. I'm saying they
Fuck
can
off.
bring up other guards.
Let them make their mistakes.
15?
Hey, turns to
He's a big.
Fuck off.
Anyway.
He busies himself, though he doesn't grumble under his breath.
Yeah, I mean, fucking.
Well, do you know where your son would hide something important? Like, is there any place, or a person you trust, or anything of that sort that might lead us in the right direction, or something we can say to him that might convince him to tell us what we need to know?
I've no idea. It seems somewhat close to Yezek, a small child that helps out at the church. His mother may be, but maybe not. Beyond this, I don't know.
Alright.
Is there anyone that you could think of that might be interested in obtaining such a thing?
No. I know not what dark powers could be working here that would be interested. Perhaps Lady Watcher. There are rumors that her family has ties to Strahd. If anyone wished to see this place harmed, defiled, perhaps it would be them.
Unless we had heard that before.
Your other two compatriots in the stockades. The only crime they committed was speaking out as well.
Yes.
I'll cast Cure Wounds on the other two as well. Well, actually, they're injured, right? Like, so they're
No.
down HP.
Actually, the woman's body slumps rather telltalely as you turn your attention towards them.
Oh.
Is she dead? Did she just die?
Feeling for a pulse, she is dead.
Oh my god, really? Okay, then I will quickly
This is-
heal the fucking guy before we lose someone else.
The man says, please, help my boy. Whatever trouble he's gotten himself into, it can't be his fault.
We'll do our best. You have my word on that. I'll cast Cure Wounds on the other guy real fast.
Both of ours. The job will not come to harm.
That one will heal for 10 as well. The other dude who's in the stockade, since
We can't heal exhaustion.
yeah, we can. Well, you can give them water, and we could give them food, but we have to.
That is blatantly obvious.
We already gave one water.
You've already attracted a little bit of attention, and
Yeah.
the town square has a bunch of people setting up decorations.
Fine.
You could attempt to feed and water the other man to alleviate his pain and exhaustion, but it will be difficult to avoid further suspicion.
Come back later.
If you come talk to me, I think I can help you.
Alright. We'll be back to help you if we can. I'll come back at the very least to tell you what's become of your son. Hopefully, if everything turns out right, he will not be here next to you.
Alright, I guess I'll... Should we tell the guards about
point to the old lady. Since, I mean, the longer they go without knowing, there is a stockade that is not to be used on another.
So you want to leave her there? That is... I would prefer she get... I'm going to cast General Repose on her. I mean, she's already dead or whatever, right? But I'll cast it on her so she won't become... She won't start stinking up the place for a little bit. I cast as a ritual. She should be good for 10 days.
Okay.
So she won't look like she's dead for 10 days, and we can come back before the 10 days is up and bury her, hopefully.
That's pretty thoughtful. I'm willing to give inspiration for that.
Okay. And I guess let's go back to the inn then. I'll try to quickly give a sip of water to the other guy if I can, and then we'll put the mask back on.
You do your best to sneak it. You're not sure if anybody saw it because you leave before you can really tell.
So, is a lady of the faith of your standing a drinker? So I think we need another bottle.
There's no prohibition in my religion against drinking, so...
Before you know it, you've returned to the inn, where your other comrades are waiting for you.
What have you discovered?
Not as much as we would have liked.
The suspicions about the town that we have seem to be appropriate.
Yes, the town is a cult, basically. Well, I'll be talking in a hushed tone that the town is a cult who disposes of those who don't adhere to their cultish rules, and
allows them to die in the sun and bake, and chooses to also humiliate them.
yes. The father did not have anything that would be particularly helpful. He just pleaded for us to help his son.
Hopefully your findings were a bit more fruitful.
Yeah.
I always deliver. I have discovered that the coffin maker is to blame. You
Mortician?
killed the boy. He said coffin maker.
Let's go confront the coffin maker then, hopefully. Hopefully
Not be so quick.
You know,
He may be a servant of Strahd. What better place to hide than amongst the dead?
that's true.
If we do not go in ready, we may find ourselves outmatched.
It's true, a coffin maker can actually make a living hiding stuff in coffins and shipping them out of town, saying they're needed in the next town over.
Not
That's
merely
true,
things, but people.
Yeah, vampires themselves have coffins.
I was more thinking zombies, but
The thralls.
man, wouldn't that suck if like a bunch of vampires? Regardless,
Okay.
there could be anything there. This guy could be a servant of Strahd. He might see us coming. We need a plan before we walk in there.
Yes, it could just be a charlatan, too.
That's also possible as well. I would rather not take the risk, as it were.
Alright. Crack.
Perhaps it would be more prudent to attempt to lift the bones from him discreetly, and then once we have proof of his betrayal, it will be easier to lure him out into the open. As it is right now, all we have are accusations.
Okay.
Might actually benefit us to have a distraction going or cause him to say something out in the open to the wrong people.
I don't know, but I'm not very sneaky for doing this discreetly. At least not in
Well,
this.
Crack, that is where I believe you come in. I figure Siguror and
Keep
Greila
watch.
can, as Siguror can make a distraction, Greila will keep watch, and we will send you in to find the bones. Is this acceptable?
Make a bird noise if anything goes wrong.
You are funny, you know that?
Sorry. I could not help myself.
You gotta find a place first.
Well, I'd assume people know where the coffin maker's place is.
You can likely ask.
Yeah. Maybe not the priest, though. We don't want him to put things together so
Barkeep.
quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we're at
The
the inn
barkeep.
anyway. Ask the barkeep where the coffin makers is.
Okay. I guess I'll go ask him.
Alright. He warmly greets you again. Ah, Greila. How have you been doing as of late?
I'm alright. My companions like to use another round, and I have a question. Where exactly is the coffin maker's house?
Ah, coffin maker's place.
Yeah.
I believe he lives in his place of business, and it's towards the other side of town. And he gives a few road descriptors.
Does it seem to be in the direction of the Vishtani camp? Like near the wall or anything? Or near the wine place? Like in
It's
those
in the
directions?
Kinda, a little bit. But to reach out of those places, you're leaving town, and
Right,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be either way.
Okay, no. I was just thinking, if he's like right up against the wall next to the Vishtani camp, maybe there's a secret door.
I can look. Oh no, definitely not.
Okay.
Like the Vistani camp is definitely outside of town, but it's still inside.
There's no... There's not near any wall.
Though that would be convenient.
Nope. Alright, well, yeah, I figure we just go there.
Deal with this, see how much time left we have, see if we have enough time to deal with the Vishtani camp or the wine place.
I need to look at how long.
Yeah, because with all of the goings on that we've been running around with, how much like has passed? Like time.
Well, I'm not
day?
concerned about that. I'm looking up some magic stuff.
It's getting to be early afternoon.
Okay. Because I mean, we are technically on a time crunch.
Yeah, I got you. I'll come back and tell you where the place is, and then I assume we'll... Are you guys trying to... Oh, I've expended 2 spell slots, but it should be fine. Let's see. Are you guys trying to rest first? Because you implied we should prepare first, but we're just gonna...
No, I more just meant have a plan.
Okay, that's good then.
Well, first we have to find out where he's keeping them, obviously. And if he is keeping them, why does he want them? Simply to sell them or for something else? Because if we can figure out how and why, then I think then we can basically make a plan on how to deal.
Well, Crack, I think, basically has to go in and find him, because I don't know how we're gonna...
They're probably there, and I don't want to talk to him and possibly set him off before we have a chance to go in there and find out where it is. So when we go to the coffin maker's place, what does it look like?
From the outside?
It looks like a 2-story tall building. It's a little older. Its architecture, just something about it seems uninviting. And all of the window shutters are closed up tight. A deathly silence surrounds the establishment.
What,
Okay. Is there, looking around the building, is there a way in that isn't the front door, maybe a window or something similar?
Yeah. Looking around a little bit, there are like 1 or 2 other ways to get in.
What's the way that is least likely
That is
for
not
Crack
on
to
the
be
street.
seen?
There's a front door, and you
Clearly
find
that's not
like
gonna be it.
4 shuttered windows on the first floor, and then there's some windows on the second floor as well.
They probably have bars on them like the tavern.
Well, we're not
You
going to know until we
go-
look.
To the front and knock on the door and tell him one of the people in the stockade died and they need a coffin made for that person that died.
That's
Jeff
a
sneaks
good
in the
idea.
back.
I'm going to cast invisibility on Crack that lasts for an hour. That should give him enough time to move around in there unseen if there is anything in there waiting for him.
Okay.
Between that and his natural stealth,
Mm-hmm.
That should be good. So yeah, and basically
to look
I'm
around,
gonna hang.
to break in, right?
Yeah, to break in and basically try to find the bones. I am going to basically stay. I'm not going to be out front with them. I'm going to be in the back, like in the alley, basically as a lookout for Crack. And if I hear Crack, if me or Sakar hears Crack, I'm gonna bust in and move to help him.
You could also probably send Sakar. If you do see some people coming, you could probably just shoot Sakar in to give him a signal.
Yeah, I can use Sakar to give a signal and anything like that. But Veritas, Credo, Oculos, and I will make Crack invisible.
Sounds like a plan.
You have 1 hour of invisibility, and if I get hit, that can go away. So hope that it does not come to that.
2 questions. Since it's a holy artifact, it probably doesn't have any magical properties. And 2, you don't have detect magic, do you?
He has detect magic.
Oh shit, you're right. I do have detect magic. Huh.
He's
you
better at
sense it
sneaking,
really
but you
familiar,
can
though?
detect shit.
Well, detect magic is it concentration though?
Detect magic is concentration.
So you can't use invisibility and at the same time.
Yeah.
Can you ritual cast a spell while you're concentrating on something?
No.
No, because it's another concentration spell.
Yeah.
Well, how good's your sneak for your here?
+2. I don't have proficiency.
Oh. Well, there's a radius around detect, right?
I wrote it.
30 feet.
30 feet.
Something that could be done is cast invisibility on Crack. He sneaks in. He looks around. He thinks he finds it and basically goes to a space in the wall and gives a signal, Sasha, of, okay, drop it. I'm going to hide here. Use detect magic here. If it's in this area, you should be able to detect it. Type thing.
Yeah, we can try that. Or I could have walked around the building first, casting detect magic to see if I can get a lead on which part of the house it's in, but technically I already cast the spell, so I can't really do that.
Okay.
Something to consider next time, though.
Can you take over Sakar's senses?
He can.
If Sakar is away from you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, because I'm wondering if it might also be a good idea to have Sakar go with Crack so you can actually look
Crack's
through.
invisible. Crack will.
Well, isn't everything that is on Crack
No.
invisible when invisibility is cast?
Not another person.
Not another creature.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. Because, I mean, I guess they don't
Where are
want...
the other ones of these? Foolishness.
I mean, I guess they, don't want a pixie holding the hand of, like, a Tarask and using invisible.
They're probably thinking more about players whenever they're thinking about limitations.
Okay, now
than
everybody
anything
hold
else.
hands. Hold hands.
Be silly.
Who's going out towards the front door?
I'm going to get attention.
Alright.
Alright, so the
And
plan's still the same.
Where's Robert?
Well,
I'm keeping watch somewhere outside.
Alright.
I'm keeping watch out back near where you went in.
I'm probably looking
There's
for
like an alley out back that
approaches.
he went into, right?
well, actually, now that I think about it,
There's something close enough to that.
would there be a role to know what exactly a coffin maker needs to do? Or are they so prominent in towns we know the go arounds and doings for coffin makers?
What information are you looking for in particular?
That coffin makers don't just make the coffin. They need to go to the body, get measurements, then they go back, make the coffin, and then they get the body and put it in the coffin. So we might be able to get him
You're
to
wondering
leave
about procedure
to get measurements.
in an effort to get him to leave. I see.
Well, that was already part of the plan. Greila told you to go in and say someone died down at the stockade. You need to go down there. And
I thought you were just saying to get
No.
his attention to the front of the store while
No,
he was
no.
sneaking in the
No.
back.
The coffin maker's got to know how big the person is to make a coffin for him, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was already part of the plan. I should probably throw guidance on him so his first
I will.
stealth check goes better.
You
Crack.
roll a d4.
Will have his pick of windows. That's why I wanted this extra thing, because they're technically little windows over here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Siguror here because he's the one doing the talking. For reference, even though you are invisible,
Farthest away from the door, front door.
all right,
Right there.
that'll be these two around back.
Let's do a left one.
Very.
My left.
So here?
Yeah.
Okay. Very well. You said you were watching off somewhere. So
On
Yeah,
the
I'm
side
gonna
that
be-
he went in.
Basically, I'm gonna be like here on a crate or something, where I can see
Oh,
him
right.
where he went in.
you're keeping watch somewhere abouts.
I mean, Sakara specifically.
And you are keeping watch.
I'm
near
keeping
the front.
watch. I guess to see if he starts coming back or something.
Okay. Like, I guess we'll get more specific if it becomes relevant, but I'll just put you here, and we'll say that conveniently Ismark and Irina are like around you, so like kind of behind.
You could be milling around like at a stall.
You approach. You are sneaking. Go ahead and roll that.
Roll with advantage because you're invisible.
Yeah. That's fine. I'll take the 14.
Well, whatever.
It's 15 plus whatever.
21.
And any sight, he counts as being heavily obscured. So basically, anyone who looks at him or who is attempting to detect him or looking at him is treated as having the blinding condition. I just looked it up,
Oh.
and what that means is that they have disadvantage on any perception checks to find him. So not only does he have advantage from roll to 21, even if they have a chance of finding him, it's with disadvantage. So
But first they need to.
pretty unlikely.
They basically need to hear something and
Unless-
then actively look.
Now that's the thing is that's if they rely on sight to see mostly. If they're like a blind creature that mostly relies on hearing, won't affect them. The roll perception is normal
Okay.
because invisible doesn't make your feet not make noise.
Fair enough.
Little did they know the coffee maker was blind.
Now, you go to the door and you knock, and exactly what are you saying?
Yeah, no, banging on it. God, we never got his name.
Who?
You did.
Oh,
It's the woman who died.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
you're
I'm talking about the coffin
maker.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
we
that
did
his
hear
name
this.
is Henrik,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
or rather, he got his name, and I assume he shared it.
yeah. I told everyone.
Specifically, Henrik van der Voort.
Vandervoort is his last name.
Yes, but there are some spaces.
I'm assuming DRYK.
DER, and then there's a space, and then VOORT.
I'll go with Vort then. Banging on the door. Sir Vort.
There are some footsteps. Crack hears those footsteps pass him, though it's a little farther in the house. And then you hear footsteps get close to the door. Who's there?
One of the newcomers to the city. Apparently your services are required in the town square.
We're closed. Go away.
The guards seemed awfully persistent to want to open up one of the stockades.
We're closed. Come back later.
Well, I guess I could talk to the Baron myself and let him know what you're saying.
Meanwhile, Crack, this window, in addition to being shuttered, is also barred and will take some work to get into.
Thieves' tools, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Strictly.
I was imagining them barred as in like you couldn't open them, and I paused thinking, that's kind of silly. Logically, you'd be able to open them somehow.
20.
These tools probably have like some type of like shim bar where you shove it into those types of things. Pry bar.
Maybe. It takes a little jimming, but you are able to get it open. and get inside. And for the moment, you don't seem to have been noticed. Nothing jumps on you or anything. And once you're inside, you come face to face with an arrangement that is haphazardly made up of 13 wooden coffins. The air is also rather musty down here.
Alright.
You can see that there are 2 doors over on the far side, as well as a number of coffins, any one of which could potentially have what you seek, depending on where you think this guy would keep the bones. You can even hear your friend Siguror talking to the man. So for right now, you're free to look around.
Alright. Perception. Damn. I still don't have guidance, right? I still...
No, it's only your first roll.
Good. 13.
Alright,
Says
it's
technically lower than my perception.
pretty straightforward down here, in that while there are like a bunch of haphazardly placed coffins, there's not a whole lot else down here. And as you open coffin after coffin, you find that these are empty.
Alright.
There's nothing else on the floor, and you don't find any hidden compartments or anything like that. The bones must be elsewhere.
He said this is 2 stories, right?
Hmm?
You said it was 2 stories?
Yes.
I'll check the left one, since I probably know where the front door is.
Since
You can probably guess. You checking this one, right?
Yeah.
You move carefully, maybe even stealthily, in that I would like another check from you real quick.
With advantage.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, totally. Oh wait, no, you're already invisible, never mind. I was like, oh yeah, how did you know I wanted it? Because someone's helping you out.
I got a 5 and then a natural 20.
Yeah,
So
26 skills done. It sucked.
26.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that spells can't crit or crit fail. But...
If you're not good enough, you're not good enough.
Well, I mean, I could see it be like, you crit fail with the athletics check and sprain your ankle.
You got better in that you got a 20 on your second one, and it was a redemption. Yeah.
Well, I got a 5. Since I rolled with advantage, I got a 5, base 5, and then I got a base.
What's your 20 total?
Yeah, 26.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. Just making sure. You can hear the coffin seller Henrik talking to your friend as you get closer to the front, and while you almost bang your foot on like the leg of a chair when you enter into the room, because you find that it is a room with a table and like 4 chairs and some cabinets, you avoid doing so, and may look through here as well. In the meantime, the coffin seller insists from his place behind the door, "Tell him we're closed if you must, but we are closed. Anyone looking for a coffin will have to come back later."
Isn't that kind of the opposite of what would happen? People looking for coffins don't come to your door?
For what it's worth, just jabbing him, it crosses your mind, isn't going to get him to keep talking to you. And if your goal is to keep him talking, he's probably not in the mood for a debate, as his reasoning range has been quite limited.
He does need to take the measurements for the person, even if he doesn't make the coffin right now. I'm just saying.
He's already asked that you come back later. Combating this will be the big decider whether or not you can keep him distracted.
Well, I don't want to just break down his door, obviously, because let's try and swing this another way.
Have intimidate.
Yeah.
Roll intimidate.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to think of how
Alternatively,
to word it.
if you don't want to distract him anymore, I mean, if you think Crack is invisible, and that's probably enough, then
Perhaps you did not see the travelers that came through the town. I'm the one that is capable of crushing your puny little door between my hands. Crushing your door between my hands if you do not choose to open it.
okay.
And I'm going to count. Maybe. Whew. 23. No, 22. Sorry, I have no charisma or bonus.
You hear the sound of like pressure being put on the door, almost as if like somebody's leaning on it. You hear a groan from the inside, and the clacking of chains.
Well, that doesn't sound.
He's preparing to open the door.
Right.
Meanwhile,
13.
alright, you're looking around here. This place is a little barren. There's a lantern hanging from a chain, like directly above, though it's still daytime, so it's not like lit, at least not yet. And the cabinets, though pretty well made, are also pretty uninteresting. As Crack like opens one, he finds not plates or dishes, because they're different, but a bunch of knickknacks inside, like little costume jewelry, like little baubles and like cups and things like that. And then you open another one, and it's got like a set of like rusted throwing knives that have like little feathers on the ends, and like a skull, but it looks like some kind of animal skull. It's got like a little beak on it, so it might be some kind of maybe raven, maybe some other thing.
Brother.
It's just a bunch of junk. Unless Saint Andrel was a bird, in which case maybe you found him, but you're pretty sure they would have brought it up. Other people always treat it really weird when somebody's a bird. It's not that weird, really.
Oh yes, one other
I mean,
thing we
if
forgot to mention.
somebody asks
about
you.
this glorious saint, protector of evil. He was a bird. What?
What? Yeah.
You mean like the cake? No.
A normal bird.
Yes.
What are we playing? How to Fool Boyfriend now?
Not quite. And by not quite, I mean not at all.
Nothing else?
That's
it?
No.
Trying to play.
You also hear some rustling from the door and the noise of the door opening.
I'm gonna wait and listen, I guess.
All right. And back to you. The door opens, and you are confronted by the visage of an old and weary man, balding on top, or rather receding hairline, gray hair, and he looks a little disheveled. He's got like a brown patchy vest on and some light tan shirt underneath, some sturdy work pants, and he looks up at you and then like looks a little down again. I have opened the door. Where's the body that you wish measured so desperately?
I'm sorry to press you so hard. I just simply do not wish to join the others amongst the stockades, as I have heard is Baron's habit.
Yes. Those that undermine him. He looks near you. I see no body. Did you not bring it?
I was not told to remove them from the stockade, merely to let you know so you can come and measure them. Is that not how the proceedings are supposed to go? Excuse me, I am from far, and I do not quite understand how you do your business.
No, they are not. He is concerned, but also suspicious of you, and also a little afraid.
That's fine. I just need to keep him talking.
For the record, Greila, are you making any special effort to hide?
I wasn't. That would be suspicious. I'm supposed to be a guard. I'm supposed to be like on the lookout for people, so I'll try to appear.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ismark and Irina weren't making a special effort to hide either. They do catch his attention, but he doesn't say anything. He then stares at Siguror, clearly wishing to ask something, but not quite over the edge where he's not too scared to do so.
I'll sit there and stare at him in silence as long as I have to.
As he locks eyes with you and attempts to stir the courage to ask or challenge you on your story, you look into the eyes of a man, weather-beaten, wrinkled, weary. You see a special kind of beaten downedness in his heart that's so foreign to you given where you come from, or even in your travels. It is really quite sad.
I feel bad picking on the elderly, but we have a mission we have to do. I really do.
Meanwhile, Crack is listening, and then they go quiet. And then you're like a little bit of breathing, and then like the start of a question, but then a cutoff. Like someone cuts themselves off, and you think it's the guy.
Where are the stairs that go up? He didn't see them when he was moving around?
No.
But he did see this door.
Yeah.
Why is that door fucking back?
This and
Door.
this are doors.
Yeah.
You said you probably figure you know where the front door is, and I agreed in that.
There's two
Your
doors.
guess is
This
probably
is
this
the
is
right
here.
one straight. This is a different door, though. You should check that.
Yeah, I suppose. I'll check that then.
Well, it might be.
Yeah, well, that's why I was afraid if I open the door, he's gonna fucking.
Well, that's part of what your stealth roll is if you're moving quietly, Jeff. It's,
You.
Where's the
Well, I
stairs?
will. Now that you mentioned it, I would like another stealth roll. But as you exit the dining room, the noises that you hear do come more so from one room than the other, which leaves one door left for inspection.
Real weird if you came across locked doors inside the house while he was still here.
19.
If anybody hears you, they certainly don't say it. But you don't think anybody does. You check out the only door left to you, and they are stairs. And while stairs can be a bit creaky, you can be a bit sneaky.
Hey. You sneak that shit.
Once at the top of the stairs, Crack is confronted by two doors, one on either side of him.
Just take the right.
Alright. Just to confirm this is what okay. Crack moves to the right and finds himself in another small room. Yeah, go ahead.
18. Finally, good roll on perception. Unfortunately, I don't know what I need.
You very thoroughly are rustling through this room. From the silverware that you find and the cookery that you find proper, it suggests this place is a kitchen, including the square table surrounded by chairs, though some of them look a little dusty, as if with disuse. You were able to look through the cabinets and cupboards and find some food, some of it spoiling, more dishes and silverware. You don't find anything that looks like the bones. You also find a door that was apparent, but still there, on the far side of the room.
Unless he was wanting to make a broth.
Let's check that door.
Hey, that might make a pretty good potion. I don't know.
Very well.
Potion of corpse.
In the meantime, after what feels like an eternity, Henrik musters the courage to say, I cannot do my work without the body or my tools. Can you not bring the body here?
Apologies. I assumed you would have your tools and go to the site so you could have the coffin and then see if you have one prepared that matches the size. So then you don't need to show the body to the town or parade the body through the town.
That is not how I work. You will need to bring the body, or you will need to take measurements yourself. Surely the Baron will understand if that is who sent you.
Well,
But I would also insist that you come back tomorrow, for we are closed right now.
Then, so I know. When do you open at your next convenience, I suppose?
Tomorrow morning.
It's still like midday, isn't it? Or like in the afternoon?
Are
How's this
you,
It's getting a little
close,
later, but yeah.
are you finished for the day? Seems a bit early to close, doesn't it?
Yes, I am finished for the day.
How do I know that you're just not trying to push me away? So then I could get in trouble.
Please.
And potentially thrown into the stockades for bothering you.
Please, I am just an old man, living his life and plying his trade. I beg of you to leave me alone. Come back tomorrow, please.
I think that's about as all.
Hey, they started talking again. You got better things to do, and it's all for the best because you kind of can't hear them while you're up here anyway.
Yeah.
Like you hear, but you kind of don't.
Irony, door closing. That's about time for me to fucking leave.
The door hasn't closed yet.
He's still invisible, though.
Yeah,
He's such a
nobody-
baby.
Yeah, the door's.
This would be more tense if you weren't invisible, but
Yeah.
alas.
Also, if worst comes to worst, you can just cold cock this guy while you're invisible. Because if he gets in the same room and you're afraid he's gonna find you, just punch him. Even if he knows you're there.
I'll have to wait until fucking he's back his turn because I don't want him seeing a Birdman.
No,
I'm the only Birdman
He's
around.
invisible.
no,
You're
you're
invisible.
invisible.
I'm
If you make a noise and he knows someone's in his house, punch him. You'll have advantage on the
I know.
attack, and he won't be invisible.
and if I fail, Rob, anyway,
You'll
then-
be visible, but
yeah, and then he'll know it's a fucking Birdman, and then the gig is up.
Hopefully,
That makes sense.
the jig will not be up, and you will be able to maintain your secrecy. What did you get on your searching?
Good damn it. 12.
All right. This place appears to be a bedchamber of sorts. Though it is modestly furnished, it possesses some pieces of interesting architecture, or rather possessions, including some pieces of furniture, like a table and a padded chair and a bookshelf, and a wardrobe. You make your way around the room, and the most interesting things that you find happen to be in the wardrobe, as may or may not be predictable. In that, when giving the wardrobe a pat down, you actually find a secret compartment inside. And inside this compartment are 2 sacks. The first one that you happen to grab and take a peek in has some silver pieces and some electric pieces in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you take it, obviously it's up to you.
No.
The second sack rattles when you grab it, and when you open it, there are a bunch of bones inside. It's likely what you are looking for.
I'll take it and I'll finally out of here.
Close it all up. I was never here.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna know someone's there when the bones aren't there.
Who the hell is he gonna tell? The Baron?
No.
Both of these are reasonable questions. You grab the bones. And just the bones?
Yeah.
Okay. And just checking. And start making your way out. What are you doing?
Alright.
Just fucking assault him now?
No. That was between two decisions.
Random chance.
Evens was one, odd was the other one.
Okay.
Alright, then, again, apologies, and, I'll hand him, like a gold piece, and sorry to bother you, and potentially a down payment for your future business.
Yes. He makes his way back and carefully but quickly closes the door.
David, anyone else I can jump out of?
Oh, well, let's check.
Just go back to the window you came
Actually,
in.
yes. There is a barred and shuttered window in the same room that you find the stuff. You would have to, like, get it open, but once you did that, you could.
But is there any way I can close it and then jump out? Or is that going to be hard?
It's like a ledge to hang on while he shuts it.
It'd be hard to do. You'd have to, like, come up with a way.
Won't he be holding on to the bars when he's closing it anyway? Can't he just hold on to the bars while he slides it down?
But there are also shutters that make getting a hand grip kind of weird.
He can open the shutters from the inside. He doesn't have to close
You
the
argue
shutters.
with him. Just go
Yeah,
down
but
and
when
use
he's,
the
like,
one
outside.
you came in.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
I suppose.
You're still invisible.
It won't be a perfect escape.
No,
But
but
you can kind of
Give
do it, or you can go back down
say
and
that.
sneak around.
Rolls a
the
1.
coffin
Rolls a
cell.
1. Guy rolls a 20. Who's there?
Then you...
I'll just go out the way I came out.
Very well. You begin on your way. When you get down, you stop because the coffin cell like passes in front of you. He looks very tired, and he goes over towards the cabinet area where you were rustling around earlier. And he puts his hands on like a fixture beneath it. I'm just so tired. And in the middle of an existential stare into like the lower wall of his own respective corner, you continue making your way. I would like one more roll from you because there's a door to pass through before you get to the coffin place.
21.
All right. There are a couple of rookie mistakes you could make while getting back down to the coffin storage, but you don't, including the rookie mistake of just kicking one because it's fun. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, how many chances do you get to kick a coffin?
Shut up.
You make your way over to the window that is still open, and you make your way out undetected.
Cool.
You're met by Sasha, who is keeping watch like a short distance away, and
I'll
it's
see.
pretty easy to...
Don't say anything.
If I see that that he has the
I'm just
back, I will nod at him.
Just-
and,
One move.
Sakar is looking at stuff. I'm not completely helpless.
Well, I mean, can Sukar see invisible?
No, but I can tell when my invisibility aura is back towards me. It's my own spell.
Yeah.
Is that a feature of invisibility?
I assume it's a feature of magic. If you buff someone, you can tell where the thing is.
He's having to concentrate on the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
If I can't, then whatever.
You group back together.
Away from the house.
Also, I can just turn off the
Yeah.
spell as soon as I see the bars snap back into place.
That also.
What if it's the old man's?
You
His Sakar would see
Ah,
that then.
crack was the
Sakar would
outs.
probably react a little differently.
Yeah.
You know.
Love how you act like my
Yeah.
hit score is a 9 as opposed to literally one of the 2 smartest men in Barovia.
They just really want to find out that you're lying. They really want to find out.
Well, too bad. I'm a genius. Deal.
Perhaps some of the day, but not today. You get back out. You have the bones in hand, and once again you reunite with your party at a safe distance.
Once we reunite and the spell is worn off, I will say, good work, Crack. Did you see anything in there that was unusual?
No.
Alright. We should make a mark of this man. He stole the bones for a reason. He may be allied with Strahd. What was his demeanor like when you spoke to him?
The store was closed for the day, which is odd. He was very adamant about not allowing anybody in. Now it could have been his day off, but
He could be hiding something.
maybe.
What do you think, Greila?
I do think coffin makers had days off necessarily.
Now, I am legitimately asking, because Sasha is legitimately curious what Greila thinks, but also out of character. Could Greila possibly roll insight? I know she wasn't the one who talked to him, but maybe help us figure out if this guy... Because out of character, I get the sneaking suspicion that this guy's working for him willingly.
And I just give everything that
Yeah.
I witnessed, talked about, and
It's a little cheesy, but yeah, sure.
If Greila...
If you want.
Because Greila knows more about people than I do.
I mean,
You have
I could
insight, I
could
don't.
try to roll insight for it too.
You may if you desire.
Yeah, also guidance
Right.
yourself
Oh.
first.
Oh yeah, I could have given myself first. 18.
Well, yeah, he's pretty suspicious. And his meek demeanor suggests that if he's working for anybody, like,
He's been
probably
drawn into it.
through manipulation.
Hmm.
But not really knowing him, that's really just like,
Right.
you know.
He might just be tired of making coffins because he has to do it so often.
I don't know.
Out of character. He seemed pretty...
It's mid-afternoon and this motherfucker is like,
I mean,
I'm
why would he
exhausted.
steal the bones and then be like, go away? There's probably something sketchy going on.
Maybe uses his bargaining chip. Maybe none of the townspeople are allowed to leave.
what? No, I don't think that's the case.
No.
Well,
The hunters clearly leave all
Yeah,
the
the
time.
hunters
well,
leave
yeah,
all the
because
time.
they have to come back to get
Okay,
food.
what about Van Richten? He left.
Well, he's not a townsperson.
I'm pretty sure the townspeople can leave. They're just culty-like and they don't want to leave.
You
for
could
the
ask
thing.
around if you have suspicions about that.
I
think he's
definitely
being
do and will.
coerced into working for someone.
I tell him everything about
Maybe the parents.
Alright.
the money and all that.
You get a pretty
Why would the Baron want
standard.
the church destroyed. That would weaken his position.
The Baron
No,
does
I
have
mean,
a
he's
demonic
being
bodyguard.
the
though.
Baron is forcing him to make coffins for the people in the stockade, and he might be using.
I think
That's
he
only 3 people.
specifically had someone take the bones. Someone made him do. That's what I think. I think someone made him take the bones. And it's either Strahd or someone working for Strahd.
Well, you
I
could talk to
don't
the kid
think
to see if it
it's
was the kid's idea to take the bones first and then go to the person that deals with dead people.
Actually,
to something
no.
to sell.
He said something that suggested that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, he said that he told the coffin seller about the bones, and then the coffin seller paid him to take the bones.
Okay.
Which means it was the coffin seller's idea. If his account is to be believed, it was the coffin seller's idea
Right.
to take them.
I mean, he didn't come
Okay.
to the kid with the idea, but he could have already been in someone's pocket. I mean, he deals with corpses.
His house had like a weird eerie
He had
aura to it.
bars all over it, like everywhere.
Barovia.
That's weird. Have
No.
the other houses we come across are all barred up?
Not quite as much.
I mean, the tavern had bars.
This
in
is
all
a
the
little.
windows.
The tavern is a bit more secure than most places, as is the
Right, but Van
coffin
Richten
place.
went out of his way to say that that was a safe place. If the coffin, and also David did say last session that the
Maybe he's got a
barkeep,
big problem with necrophilia trying to break into his place.
possibly, but David said last session that
I'm just
the
joking.
barkeep went out of his way to like treat us all equally, including me. I think that maybe between that and what Van Richten said, the barkeep might be in the know, and that's why it's defended, because they know something that other people don't, and I think so does this guy. He has to know something, and Sasha wants to come back and figure out some information, but that is after
Maybe
we
the
return the
Watchers?
bones. The bones
It's not a bad theory.
is the most important.
It's also not a bad suggestion.
The Watchers, we should definitely look into at one point also.
I wouldn't think that their kids don't sound that bad though if they're willing to take the ass hats off the people in stockades.
Yeah.
Maybe, but they also said that the Watchers have some link to Strahd.
They
That's
think
a
everybody
rumor,
does.
though.
They
And
think everybody outside
this
the
guy,
town does.
yeah, and they,
They're not outside the town. The Watchers are part of the town.
here they
But
are.
these are culty people. We can't take everything they say.
The Watchers
They-
were
they're not
talked
the one who
about
told
as
us that, the
specifically
priests.
having connection
Yeah, the
to...
priests told
right,
us that they
that
had
too.
connection to Strahd. So I'm willing to
Other
believe
people-
the priest.
Other
Lucian
people
seems
are
like a stand-up guy.
suspected.
Just because the leader of the cult is culty and like crazy doesn't mean he isn't against Strahd. It just means the way he's doing it is shitty. If they're with Strahd, they would be against him.
Yeah, it'd be very easy to be against the Baron, though.
Yeah. That kind of adds to my point. Just because they're against the Baron doesn't make them good people, especially if the priest is correct and the priest just wants to keep people safe. That's why he wanted us to get the bones. We should talk to the Watchers, but I wouldn't trust them.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting anybody in this town.
Yeah.
Likely a good idea. Where do you go now that you have
Church.
successfully... Okay. You traverse back to the church.
You should probably cast detect magic on the bones, make sure they're the right ones.
Oh, yeah, I'll ritual cast detect magic.
Make sure these aren't the bones of his wife or something.
Creepy guy just had these bones.
Well,
It
shit.
It is beyond doubt that these are the bones that you were looking for.
Okay.
Okay.
So they have a specific aura? Abjuration, possibly? That's the defensive magic, so I'm just assuming.
I would imagine they'd probably have a distinct aura all their own that gives away that they're
Ah,
holy
so
like,
they're radiant.
completely.
Okay.
Like there's no mistaking it.
Right. So I'm looking at like a unique magic item here.
I would say
Oh.
most definitely so.
Can I ritually cast Identify? To determine the exact effect of the bones?
You
Yeah.
said
More,
these are the
more
bones?
just to fulfill Sasha's
I-
You
curiosity.
said these are the bones of
I
the
stopped
Morning
sure, but, like,
Lord,
yeah.
or just the
Of
Saint?
Saint...
Saint Andrel,
Andrel.
the Morning.
I was
Lord.
gonna say
so, yeah.
Saint-
The Morning Lord. These are the bones of a god.
So?
I'm just
Sasha's
saying-
curious. Also, I was about to say Saint Jorah, and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, that's really not
So wait,
right.
That is as far wrong as you could be.
these are the bones of a god, so they could also be considered the corpse parts.
They could.
Mm.
David, what does Sasha stand?
I have no idea.
I think
I'm
the
sure
Morning
it-
Lord's as close as you get to Jesus.
I'm
You
sure it
will
would be
have to say-
cool.
Yeah, and
and
the corpse part
interesting.
and
I know-
JoJo's are literally Jesus.
Jesus.
I know it would
I'm
make
I'm
me
sure it would
sad,
be cool
but
and
Owl
interesting.
City.
Owl City. No, his would definitely not be Owl City.
The reference can be dumb, but the stand can still be cool.
It is like late afternoon when you get back to the church and are inside. Father Lucien comes rushing over to you. Like he notices you at first, but then when he notices the bag, he does come over rather briskly and asks, "Is this?"
Yes, the deed is done.
Oh, thank goodness.
The DJ's
Damn it, record time too. I didn't actually fucking like. But
That's what happens when you
Hours.
hire us.
I'm
We
so
get
glad.
results.
I'm so glad. And
The boy, he was under pressure. I would not judge him too harshly, but I would keep those in a safe place. If you could help his family, I believe he could you could change his path.
We are doing as much as we can, or rather I am, but I will see if something else cannot be done.
His father does seem to have a strong resolve, which is respectable.
You spoke with
Until
him.
it gets him killed.
Yes, he has more
Many-
resolve than he does wisdom.
Many of the actions we have done, people could say the same of us.
We're more.
This town still stands.
I want to say we're more discreet, but that's not necessarily true all the time.
We're
Well,
more
we
discreet.
are discreet.
Father,
I didn't burn the town down when the guy was questioning me because I didn't want to fucking.
burning Death House, not discreet. But can you argue that discretion was really necessary with Death House?
Oh, hell no. But it was discreet. But it is necessary when dealing with the Baron.
Now, Father Lucian sets about putting the bones back where they should be, and perhaps later doing something to further secure them, if you can think
Well,
of it.
maybe change the law.
For Sasha's curiosity's sake, the bones, when restored to their place, will act as like a hollow spell, like a
Oh,
this
neat.
place.
Okay, cool.
Huh. Does that mean like undead cannot set foot on it?
I'd have to look at the specifics of Hollow, but yeah, it's
Me too. But I remember
it should stop.
I remember the book specified, and I was like, I couldn't actually tell you that.
Yeah, it should stop anything nasty from getting in, and if they do, they'll have pretty fat penalties to do anything. Might even work on Strahd. I don't know. He might have some sort of immunity to hallowed ground. I wouldn't be surprised. But his minions should be affected by it, so. Stop Isaac from coming in here too. That literally is a demon on him.
Isaac.
But Isaac.
Isaac.
It's spelled like Isaac.
But it's pronounced Isaac.
Well,
It might be.
that's how I say it.
It could
If
be
you want
Isaac.
to side with me, then yeah. But who knows?
Also, maybe that's just Sasha's accent. You don't know that.
Celestials, elementals,
You-
fae, fiend, and undead can't enter the area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess creatures within it. Any creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area. You can exclude types of creatures from this effect if you want. I don't know why you would. Unless, well, maybe you
Well, if you
exclude
want
it
to
for
allow
celestial.
Celestial, yeah.
Yeah, but
Bones restored. What will the group do now?
Well, what time is it?
That's our equivalent of, I'd say, like 3:30.
Vistani
So-
camp real
The
quick,
day's getting on.
since it's closer.
How far is the Vistani camp?
It's just outside town. You could definitely reach it before nightfall.
There and back.
Yeah, unless you like took a lot
Okay.
of time.
Vistani camp it is.
there's another effect, one other effect, but it's from a list of effects, David. Yeah. Like,
Well, I named like the relevant one.
okay.
Yeah.
Is how he
Well, there
coded
is
that the
another
book
relevant
only
one.
specified. The book
Well,
made
for us.
specific the thing. And you set out once again, busy as always, though this time to the outskirts of town.
Question: is Mark and Irina? Yes, no. Are they gonna stay here?
Now that the magic's restored to the church,
Well, I more meant, are they gonna go with us to the
Yeah,
Vistani
yeah.
camp?
so now they have a little bit more inkling to stay with the spell back.
Ismark desires to stay now that things have been settled. Irina desires to continue to be of help in any way that she can. And does not want to stay.
Is this Mark in a letter, or is he? Gonna...
Ismark doesn't force her to stay, but he does come with. And as such, you continue to roll.
Alright.
You are quite the group as you walk. The woods part just outside the town of Vallaki to reveal an expansive clearing, a a small grass-covered hill with low houses built into its sides. Fog obscures the details, but you can see that these buildings feature elegantly carved woodwork and have decorative lanterns hanging from their sculpted eaves. Atop the hill, above the fog, is a ring of barrel-topped wagons that surround a large tent with a column of smoke pouring through a hole in the top. The tent is brightly lit from within, and even at this distance, you can smell the odors of wine and horses that emanate from this central area.
All right.
Did we stable our horses, or are we taking them with?
I don't see a reason not to take them with us.
We only got 2 anyway, so we would just go with the same setup we had before.
I believe
makes
it's,
sense.
it's Vishani, so.
Why not? As you approach the camp, a figure spots and begins walking towards you. Though it is not Vistani, it is elven. You can tell from its fair features and the ears, though it is also tan-skinned. As it approaches,
Like a wood elf of some kind.
looks similar to that, yeah. He looks to the group and asks, "Oh, travelers, what business do you have here?"
Well met. I am Sasha. These are my companions. We heard that there was a camp of the people here, and I was curious to make myself known.
Well met yourself. And I am Matriop. I am...
I'll shake his hand.
Yes. He shakes Sasha's hand. I am afraid that you come at a rather unfortunate time. The camp is restless, to say the least. If it is bad news, I would most certainly come back later.
No bad news. I came because I have heard bad news. I have heard that your leader is gone, although it is a rumor, and you know how the Vallaki like to talk. Nonsense.
This is true. The camp, a long time ago, the leader of the Vistani camp died. Was slain, I believe, but my memory leaves me. Now there are 2 others in charge that are elders, but some say that is perhaps not so good. Not that I would misspeak. He then becomes retroactively fearful about what he has decidedly let slip, but does not combat it.
You are part of the Vishani camp?
No. We are part of our own camp. We stay with them as they watch over us.
Oh.
Safety in numbers.
Sort of.
I'm curious as to why you choose to stay so close to Vallaki. Our kind are not welcome there.
I am not Vistani. I just
He's
stay with them.
Yeah, I was saying that me...
You said our kind. So.
Yeah, our kind. Me and other Vistani. I wasn't referring to him.
He makes that mistake, and out of character, so do I. But in character, he makes it. We just simply stay with them. They kind of look out for us, so to speak. As for why they camp here, I'm not so certain myself.
Well, then, if you excuse me, I would like to meet with the Vistani. Figure out what troubles them.
Very well. I would not refuse. One such as yourself? He shifts a little bit where he is, and then waits a couple seconds as you guys depart before he turns himself and goes back to towards some of the other housing around here.
So they are camped separately from the Vistani.
Separately in terms of space, but they are together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like two clans temporarily sharing a camp, it sounds like. I'm surprised the elves. Oh, whatever.
As you approach the wagons, you hear, among other lesser sounds, the cracking of a whip that gets louder and louder as you approach the encampment.
Well, that's a lovely sound.
Following the source of the noise, you eventually come to 3 Vistani men. One rather broad and brutish with like a flat nose, who's the one doing the whipping. Rather fiercely, fire in his eyes, his face held by features of intense anger as he mercilessly whips another Vistani man who is bare-backed and on the ground. There are small lashings of blood here and there on the floor. And there's a younger Vistani man who is watching the proceeding, though turns as you all approach.
What is going on here?
Yeah.
What are you doing to this man?
How injured does he?
He turns. The whipper stops for but a moment, and without looking, says, "This is a befitting punishment for losing one of our own. For losing my..." And he whips again, and there's a loud crack and blood splashes. "For my daughter! Her..."
Can I...
Huh.
Shit.
Would you happen to know if these types of rulings, there should be like a thing of family members do not dish out punishment for lost?
I have no idea, but
Well, I mean, I don't know if it'd be some type of role for Vishani.
I wish I had fucking mage hand. Well, I'm more concerned with stopping this guy's whip.
How
Now, is it possible to use a spell to attack, but to use it to attack the whip? Like to just pull it from his hand?
What are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of using catapult, drawing my dagger, and just stabbing the whip into the ground. Like just the knife through it.
I'd accept that.
Okay,
It's
well,
gonna be
then-
pretty hard.
Because it is a
I accept
whip.
that.
Then he makes a dexterity
Wouldn't that
saving
just be
throw.
severing it?
No, I want to pin it to the ground specifically.
I'm going to give it to him with advantage because this is difficult
Okay.
and kind of unique.
I have portents, so
Yes.
I might use my portent on
I was thinking of just walking over and grabbing it.
Yeah, I know, I'm an asshole, right?
Alternatively, you could do that.
Yeah, because I mean, if the guy looks like he's like close to death,
That 20 is a 5.
does that mean he uses the 10?
No, I'm pretty sure when you use portent, it overrides advantage.
All right, because Portland's not the other one.
Yeah.
I
Lucky,
did not
right.
know, but now I know.
I actually might both do that, I'm not sure.
Rather well, I'm just taking shots in the dark myself. Sasha, rather slickly,
Is this not a tackle?
It's not an attack roll, he makes a save.
Oh,
Catapult's a saving throw.
does that mean you'd have to take control of Sakar's senses for a moment?
Yeah, it does mean I have to take control of Sakar's senses for a moment. Well,
Which,
actually, technically by the rules, it doesn't because he makes a save. I don't make an attack roll. However, so that I can see where I'm aiming, logically, I would do it anyway.
that's what I would think.
But literally, by the written rules, I don't need to see to force someone to make a saving throw.
Very slickly, pinning the whip to the ground. The man, notices and yanks it and then turns his anger upon you. Before he can say anything, the person that he's whipping, who also is kind of turned around a little bit, says, "No, stop! Please! Don't! You cannot help this. I was the one that lost her, and this is my punishment.
He is going
Please do not interfere.
You are going to kill him.
It is better than to appear weak.
How?
Surely you must know this
How
as one of
injured
us."
does he look? Does he just actually? Does he actually?
Very.
He described blood
Very.
all over the ground.
Some
I'll
strips
heal
of
him
blood
then.
on the ground, not like Agni actual, full descriptions of how much. Just, I don't know.
A lot. He is
Okay.
very hurt.
I'll heal him.
He is also pleading to not be interfered with,
I don't care.
lest he
He's
appear
bleeding.
weak.
I will.
That might be a poor
I was gonna say the
Decision
question you gotta
company
ask
you're
yourself
in.
is if you want to interfere, but it sounds like you're totally fine with interfering. You already did. How you two feel, I'm gonna get to next time because it's about as much time as we got.
Yeah. You want me to roll the thing though first?
No,
All I gotta do is touch him. No?
just make a note and roll it next time. But for right now, we leave off to resume next time. If we want to spoil the next episode, go ahead and talk about what you plan on doing or how you feel, and maybe a little bit about where people can find you.
Well, you could find more of me at Lights Camera Initiative, where I speak for everyone 100% of the time. Additionally, Sasha is very upset that this man is being beaten to death for, seemingly little reason. I mean, there probably is a reason, but Sasha doesn't like seeing anyone being, abused like this. And yeah, he's definitely going to try to figure out what's going on here and if he can do anything to fix it. He doesn't want to see his countrymen die. That's specifically why he's here to kill Strahd, to save these people. And he's not going to stand and watch them kill themselves when there are so many people out against them in the first place.
Greila?
Well, Grayla's just trying to do the most good she can, so she'll cure this guy. He's no good to anyone dead, obviously, so there is that. Yeah.
Does healing have to be on a willing creature?
Crack?
Not sure.
Crack just wants to get the fuck out of here, so we will do whatever it needs done to be done to get out of this land.
And
Yeah.
Siguror.
This place is a hellhole. Every day crack. He can't say it because he's a Kenku, but he's just like, what is this?
You guys go. I'll go home.
It doesn't have to be on a willing creature, though.
Was going to literally go in there and try to pull the book from the guy. But now I might have to just basically be the meat wall for people depending on how this goes.
Depending on how this goes.
We'll have to see because this is... Yes, it is interrupting a proceeding that a group that we don't know anything about was done, which might automatically draw aggro from guards and house being attacked.
There are no guards out here. But
We don't know.
perhaps there are other more dangerous things. You'll definitely find out. That's it for this one. I'm artist David Harper on Instagram and Twitter, and you'll find me at the next episode of Strahd, as well as all these people, probably. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.